The wind is swirling the rain around here. Temperature is about 5 degrees, but with wind chill it's going to feel a lot chillier than that. Getting it down and playing it on the ground is what both teams have been trying to do. Crowd, we reckon maybe 1,000 or so inside Bedfont Sports for this, despite the conditions this afternoon. Have so far been treated to a really good cup tie between local rivals, which at the moment you can't put a cigarette paper between them, because to be fair, if you did, it would just be so soggy it would just crumble anyway.
Yeah, I mean, I'm actually picturing that scene from Wayne's World when they're looking up at the planes coming in over their heads. Yeah,
it's extraordinary.
Tremendous crowd, though. I have to say, for that one, Phil, in the conditions, but also for the competition. And just looking elsewhere, Chelsea women have won 4-2 in the Women's Super League against Brighton and Hove Albion. Arsenal women 4-0 winners over Aston Villa. Tottenham's women winning 2-1 today against Everton. Man City 4-0 over Leicester, and Manchester United have won 4-0 over Liverpool in the Women's Super League. Also games going on elsewhere in the Women's FA Cup. Charlton have beaten Lewis by 4-0. London Bees 6, Queen's Park Rangers 3, and I'll just keep an eye on any others that we should be bringing you this afternoon. I think that's what we should keep you up to speed with so far. Just one score as well, actually, from the Championship, from West Brom 1, Sheffield United 2 at half-time in that one. Sheffield United, the leaders in the Championship, and West Brom 10 draws this season for them means that they are 8th and just outside the playoffs because of all those draws. If they could turn them into wins, they'd be on to something. Well, let's get back to Craven Cottage before we start our build-up to the game here at Tottenham Hotspur Stadium in earnest. Really looking forward to this one after what was an incredible game here last season, the 4-1, when Tottenham had 2 players sent off in the first half, 2 injuries as well, and Chelsea eventually got their job done. So all that to come. 4:30 kick-off here, but earlier on, of course, as you have been hearing on BBC Radio London, Fulham 1, Arsenal 1. Raul Jimenez with the goal in the first half, but Arsenal hitting back from a corner through William Saliba, and then having a goal disallowed. Bukayo Saka denied a goal for an offside. Let's go back to our co-commentator Jamal Fifield. Good afternoon, Jamal.
Hi Andy, how are we?
Yeah, very well, thanks. Well, it was, Fulham lost there, didn't they, last season at Craven Cottage, and they probably look back on that and say it was one of the moments that potentially cost them the league, along with a few others, but it was so competitive at the top that there were only a few slip-ups, really. But how do you think this one ranks this season? Because Fulham obviously are having a very strong season, and we're seeing more and more of these results for virtually everyone, I guess, except Liverpool, really.
Yeah, I think Fulham fully deserved the point. On the first showing in the first half, they really put up a resolute fight against this Arsenal side. Raul Jimenez led the line superbly, giving Kiro and Saliba a really tough time. And every single time they got on the ball, they looked like scoring, even though it wasn't that much possession that they had in the first half. Arsenal, as expected, came out in the second half and managed to get that early goal. But unfortunately, the final pass was really hard. And there's a reason why Arsene Wenger said that winning the league as an Arsenal team is so hard, because there's so many derbies, and when you've got that added to the fact that 3 returning players are playing against their old side today, it was always going to be a tough ask. But Alex Iwobi also was fantastic in the defensive shape. It just seemed as though Marcus Silva's really getting a tune out of his players this season. They're going for European place themselves, but again, Arsenal, at least they didn't lose, I think is the best thing that you can say. Yes, it was unfortunate for them to get that goal disallowed at the end, but did they deserve all 3 points? I'm not sure.
I'll tell you what, Jamal, there was quite a roar here at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium in the concourses, and I thought it might have been for a Fulham goal. It was actually that goal being chalked off. The Tottenham fans all watching before the game starts here. I was going to ask you about what you think the ceiling might be for Fulham. You mentioned that they're in the mix for those European places. Generally, people have seen Fulham as a team that might, just fall off a bit second half of the season. But having said that, he looks like he's got a stronger squad now than they might have had at any time in the Premier League.
He really does, and this is the worst time for any team to come and try and play from, especially at home. Obviously, we saw what they've done to Brighton in the midweek, but there's no reason why teams such as Fulham or Nottingham Forest can't mount a European challenge, just like Aston Villa did last season. And Marco Silva, he's definitely got his players on side. They want to run through brick walls for him. You saw that Harry Wilson coming on, and although he's been really good going forward this season, he really came and backed up Tete, who was magnificent today. It would be no surprise for me to see Fulham up there at the end of the season because the football they're playing. And when you've got a striker in Raul Jimenez banging form, and they're just sharing the goals between the squad, and when one person isn't scoring, they're all getting behind the ball and putting the effort in that it takes to get 3 points and work your way up the table.
Well, those former Arsenal players in the Fulham team, did they look sort of motivated to play well, the likes of Iwobi and Smith Rowe, because obviously they've got quite a link, these two clubs now. Nelson wasn't able to play today, but they've actually been picking off a few really talented Arsenal players at Fulham, and it's paid off.
Yeah, I think it'd be a disrespect to call them a feeder club of Arsenal, as some have suggested, but as Emma said, Emmanuel Smith Rowe didn't have the impact that he would have liked, but it was a different kind of game for him today simply because they didn't have that much possession. But I thought Iwobi and Leno in particular in the goal really kept Arsenal at bay. Every time Iwobi tried to get the ball, he tried to do something inspired just to get his team over the line. Unfortunately for him, it was more of a defensive display for him today, but as you said there, the way those boys have come in and actually brought a little bit of more quality into this Fulham side, because as we spoke about, Mitrovic has been missing, but they've chipped in with a fair few goals. I think they've contributed around 10 altogether, so it's been really positive start for those ex-Arsenal players in this Fulham side.
And as for Arsenal, they had those results, an amazing result in Lisbon for instance. They put 5 goals past West Ham. Then you have a one like this and you sort of think, well, have they got the firepower to maybe do it? But do you feel that other teams are going to have this kind of result? Not everyone's going to be able to roll over teams week in, week out like Man City maybe have done it in the past, and Liverpool obviously were held at Newcastle in a thriller. But do you feel that Fulham can do this to most sides in the league?
I think so. I think they really capitalised on the fact that Arsenal had a makeshift back line. Yes, Partey went in at right back and they didn't really exploit him, but when he did have possession he went into the middle. But again, as you've seen, when Fulham are on full front attack, they can scare any team. And when you've got players like Adama Traore on the break as well, and Anthony Robinson flying up and down the wing, he was magnificent today by the way, it can really be a dent in any side. And it wouldn't be a surprise that Fulham come away with a lot of results. It's just that strength in numbers, that strength in depth that squads need to really sustain a title challenge.
And I just wanted to ask you about Martinelli, what your thoughts are there, because he was a player maybe 2 seasons back that was, I guess, like close to being equal of Saka in this team. They were almost like a double-pronged attack there on the flanks, but it seems like he isn't quite replicating that kind of level now. Is that how you see it?
I think that's a fair assessment. It's a shame that his assists got chalked off, because a player like him, he seems like a confidence player, a player that rather needs an arm around the shoulder rather than a slating from his manager. But yeah, I think he's fell off a little bit. Maybe that's the confidence. Obviously Trossard also came in and they're battling for a position. It seems as though the central position is taken by Havertz, and obviously the right hand side is Saka's. No one's ever going to take that off him, so he's in a bit of a battle. But when you're at the top level, you've got to sustain your performances, and unfortunately he hasn't been able to do that.
And Raheem Sterling not called upon today, but as you say, if you've made the change with Martinelli coming on and you've got Saka there, then maybe it's you're not going to bring on because Saka's the most likely, as we saw, I suppose. But that says something, I suppose, because Sterling's stature as a player over the last decade, you'd think that in this situation you might look for him for a late goal.
Yeah, I think it was a shame for Sterling not to come on. I think when you've taken off Havertz and put Gabriel on, and then you've also taken off Trossard, there's not really much room for Sterling. So I think for him it would be a case of showing the manager what he can do in training, which is quite a thing to say, especially with someone of his level of experience and obviously his career. But at the moment he's struggling for minutes. But I think for a player like him, having him there just to call upon in games, I think in the next game you might see him, because it was quite a disappointing display from Trossard, a bit sloppy in possession. He wasn't one of his best games. He was quite frustrated to come off. But I think for Sterling it would be a case of getting as many minutes as he can. We're just waiting for Arteta to call upon him.
And you guys mentioned it about Liverpool next for Fulham. I mean, they had those 2 League Cup ties last season. In the league it was pretty close, and you sort of think that again Fulham might be able to go there and produce a bit of a shock. I think they scored 3 there at one point, and didn't manage to get the win. So you wonder if maybe that they can pull off one of those kind of results and maybe shake it up at the top.
I wouldn't put it past them. I think with Liverpool having their game called off yesterday, they might be a little bit fresher. When you're playing against an Arsenal side, it takes a lot of movement, and that's not even, that's mental movement as well, because your brain is just so zapped, because you have to focus on different kind of runners, different bits of movement, but also that physicality of your legs being tired. It's going to be very interesting. And Liverpool, let's not forget how well they've done this season. It would be very surprising if they come away with another point in that game, but then again, the way Marco Silva's got to tune out these players is something that they can definitely do.
And just finally, Jamal, Arsenal, I know they've got Everton next weekend, but they've got Monaco before that, haven't they, in the Champions League? And actually Monaco are right with them in the top 8, 7th and 8th in that Champions League table. We know how important it is to get the position in that top 8, so that again, another big test for Arsenal, because it's in terms of its importance.
Yeah, but let's be honest, this is what Arsenal have wanted. Arteta wouldn't have it any other way. This is the reason why they're challenging the top, to challenge those top honours and get in there. And the Champions League new format is so tough. You see Real Madrid down there, PSG, so it's not easy. For them to go against a Monaco side, they're going to have to put this game to bed, figure out what they did wrong and where they could have maybe improved, maybe get a little bit more cover in the fullback areas, just so that Kyrgios isn't exposed a little bit. But it's going to be an interesting side to see how they respond to what happened today.
Jamal, thanks very much indeed for the coverage this afternoon. Go well. Hope it's not quite as windy and rainy as when you arrived.
Nice one, Andy. All the best for your game.
Cheers, Jamal. Thanks very much indeed. Jamal Fifield, who is part of our commentary team there at Craven Cottage. We'll have reaction hopefully for you at half-time in this game at Tottenham Hotspur Stadium to that 1-1 draw between Fulham and Arsenal at Craven Cottage. Meanwhile, elsewhere, just to remind you, Bournemouth 2-1 winners against Ipswich. 2 goals in the 87th minute and 95th minute have denied Ipswich a first home win of the season. And Leicester 2, Brighton 2. Leicester scoring 2 late goals of their own to deny Brighton 3 points in that one. So that's what's happened in the Premier League so far. We hope we'll be able to get back to the Women's FA Cup tie as well. Brentford-Fulham, where I think there might have been a goal in that one, so we'll be crossing to Phil Parry for that shortly. But let's bring in our summariser here at Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. It's the former Premier League striker Bradley Allen, who's already been out and about on the touchline this afternoon. Bradley?
Yeah, encountered the wintry weather conditions this morning, but an excellent performance, certainly second half for our Spurs under-18 side. Third round of the FA Youth Cup, and we got past Middlesbrough, who were very competitive, 3-2, so into the hat for the next round, and something to look forward to in the new year. And of course this key London derby here, Tottenham-Chelsea. You know, I was here last season when Spurs went down to 9 players. They still had a high line. They ended up being on the end of a rather heavy defeat, and with Chelsea making substantial changes with their Galactico squad of players that they've got, and Spurs' current form, this is going to be a tough ask again for Tottenham Hotspur, but a game that I'm really looking forward to.
Incredibly, that game last November, Tottenham were top of the league going into that game. I say incredibly, they put together an amazing run, but it's what's happened since, I suppose. You know, their form over the time since that game. They've been 9th in the Premier League in that time, in terms of their form. But coming into that, they won 8, they'd drawn 2, and then suddenly the wheels really came off. 2 injuries as well in the first half, as well as those 2 red cards, and changed dramatically in that moment. But that's the worry, I suppose, with Chelsea coming here looking very, very strong.
Absolutely.
That it could be, they could try and exploit the high line. But Tottenham have brought back 2 centre halves and Pedro Porro today, so they look a lot stronger maybe.
Yeah, on paper with Romero and Van der Ven, at the heart of the defence, they're 2 key players in that area. That will give, I think, the Spurs group, manager, coaching staff and fans more confidence that they can withstand this terrific array of attacking talent that Chelsea have at their disposal. Enzo Maresca has done a brilliant job. Are they contenders for the title if they win today? I think they certainly are. And they've got such fabulous depth. They should cruise through in the Europa League conference and comfortably win that competition and challenge as well in the domestic cups. But I think the onus is certainly on this new Chelsea coach to get them back into the top 4. They may even be able to go beyond that, Andy, if mathematically they're in the mix down the stretch. I think for me, just in a week, what we have seen, and a great point that you make about Spurs, is I was here last Sunday for the Fulham game when they they drew. They were a little bit lucky. Fulham in good form, had chances possibly to have nudged that one in their favour, an away victory. We were down at Bournemouth on Thursday, again tough weather conditions, but that has been Spurs' Achilles heel, and the manager has highlighted it. Inconsistency. He keeps making a key point, I think, that they are a work in progress. There are some young players that are learning to gain the experience of having to perform and get results every 4 days. Spurs have got to, in front of a full house this evening, got to do it again against a very tough opponent tonight.
Well, let's run you through those teams. Fraser Forster continues in goal for Tottenham in the absence of Guillermo Vicario, who's out for quite some time. Pedro Porro returns for Archie Gray at right back, having been rested for most of the game at Bournemouth. Christian Romero and Mickey van der Ven are both back. I think Christian Romero, there was an expectation that he might be back from his toe injury this afternoon, but Mickey van der Ven has caught a few people out. Ben Davies is out with a hamstring injury, but Radu Dragusin potentially could have continued, but both those centre halves come in today, and Destiny Udogie continues at left back. Yves Bissouma is at the heart of midfield, Pape Sarr alongside him, and Dejan Kulusevski will drop a bit deeper with James Maddison dropping out, and Son Heung-min comes in for Maddison. He's down the left, Brennan Johnson down the right, and Dominic Solanke is up front. For Chelsea, Robert Sanchez comes in for Philip Jorgensen in goal. There's a host of changes, in fact, from that team that beat Southampton comfortably in midweek. Such is the strength of their squad. Chelsea, Moises Caicedo will drop into right back. Marlo Gusto drops to the bench. Benoit Badiashile and Levi Colwill are the centre halves. Tosin and Axel Disasi drop out, and Mark Cucurella continues at left back. The midfield then is Enzo Fernandez, who captains the team, Romeo Lavia and Cole Palmer just ahead of them, and then Jadon Sancho and Pedro Neto replace Noni Madueke and João Felix, and Nicholas Jackson, their top scorer, comes in for Christopher Nkunku. I say the top scorer, Nkunku actually has more goals, but in terms of the Premier League, Jackson is the main man. So that's how the starting 11s look here. There's been a goal in that Women's FA Cup tie between Brentford and Fulham at Bedfont Sports. Let's get back to Phil Parry and see which way it's gone.
Yeah, Fulham are taking the lead early in the second half, actually, Andy. Ellie Old, who had that chance right at the stroke of half time, 2 minutes after the break, just sneaking into the penalty area. Good finish, actually. Brentford have responded pretty well. They've had a couple of half chances at the other end as well. Chloe Logie and Ashley Cheatley combining to set up a good opportunity, but it was smothered away by the goalkeeper. Fulham leading by a goal to nil, and we've now seen 4 planes pull out of their landings.
Yeah, well, hopefully there haven't been too many grounded after what we've seen over the last couple of days, because it's been very, very wild around London and all over the UK, but a lot of people might have been affected by that, whether through planes, trains and automobiles, and hopefully things will be getting a bit back to normal now as the storm subsides. Well, a host of changes for Chelsea here today, but as I mentioned, hasn't seemed to affect their form. In fact, over the last 29 Premier League games, Chelsea have suffered only 3 defeats: Arsenal away, Manchester City at home and Liverpool away. That means they should be a real test for Tottenham here this afternoon, having done the double over Chelsea last season. Enzo Maresca seems to have fitted in seamlessly at Chelsea since arriving as the new manager, and he has been giving his thoughts ahead of the game. First of all, asked about the opponents today, Tottenham.
First of all, very good players, very good manager. They play, it's very clear what they want to do on the ball and off the ball. And then what kind of problems they have, I don't know. You have to be there to understand what kind of problems. But they are fantastic team, and you see also the results. 2 weeks ago they beat City 4-0. So they are very good team.
Enzo Maresca, who took Leicester into the Premier League, his old team drawing 2-2 today, having been 2-0 down late on against Brighton. He certainly wouldn't have been able to rotate quite as much last season as he led Leicester City to the Championship, but that has been the way he's approached things this season, mostly using the Europa Conference League to give players valuable minutes, given the strength of his squad and how many players he has to keep happy. But he's managed to continue that even this week in the Premier League with that big win against Southampton, and only 4 players from that team remain today, so 7 players who played in that one and got such a good win. Once again, have to sit it out from the start, and this is Maresca on that policy that he has of rotating his side.
Since we start, we try to share minutes and to change players. We did exactly the same thing against Southampton. For sure, when you change 7 in Premier League, can be a big number, but they all deserve minutes. And the good thing is that no matter how many players we change, you can see the identity of the team and the team doing the right things. So this is the best thing.
Well, Noni Madueke has made a big impact this season, as he did in the summer with the England under-21s. He's broken into the England senior side now as well, and he's scored 6 goals this season, 5 in the Premier League. Doesn't get to start today though against the club where he spent 4 years as a youth player. This is Maresca's thoughts on Madueke.
Overall, he's working well since we start, but sometimes he drops a little bit, and he's not allowed to drop. It's just, but in terms of numbers, he's doing fantastic. Goal, assist, off the ball when we ask him to defend and to press, he's doing very well. The only reason I said this the other day is because I want the best for Noni. And probably the only way to get the best from him is to push him every time. And in the moment that he relaxes a little bit, he's wrong.
Well, Bradley Allen's alongside me, knows Noni Madueke well, having coached him as a youngster at Tottenham Hotspur, and well, he's gone from strength to strength really, Bradley. But he went over to Holland for a little while as well, didn't he? On his journey through.
He chose to leave Spurs Academy at 16 and obviously moved to Dutch football to accelerate the opportunity to develop and play first team football earlier, and he's gone, like you say, from strength to strength. A maverick type player, very creative, checks in field and whips that ball with his left foot. And it's interesting, Enzo's points there about his actual understanding and maturity of the out of possession stuff. With these players that can do something a little bit brilliant, I think it's important that they learn and are encouraged to strike a balance there. Obviously he doesn't get a start this evening, but he's some player to bring off the bench.
Yeah, and that's the strength, you know. João Felix, of course, Pedro Neto, Jadon Sancho. It's an embarrassment of riches really. Of course, his opposite number, Enzo Maresca, Ange Postecoglou, had to deal with some booing after the defeat at Bournemouth. These are his thoughts on that.
I think it's nothing new in terms of, we depends a little bit of the results of the situation, and then it's fair or unfair, it's our job.
Well, that's the way that it might be for Ange Postecoglou at the moment, and Maresca certainly won't be dealing with that the way Chelsea are at the moment. Could close the gap on Liverpool to 4 points, but Maresca, he's having to play 2 games every week really this season, and he does feel that they ask too much of the players.
Many times we said that there are so many games, it's difficult, but we see when we are close to May, June, July, how we arrive, and then from there we prepare our competition.
Well, Ange Postecoglou has felt a bit of heat this last week or so, including speaking to a few of the Tottenham fans down at Bournemouth and letting them know his side of the story. He now comes up against a team that Tottenham and their fans always desperately want to beat, Chelsea.
We've done well against the sort of teams up the top end of the table this year. Not just wins, but played really well, whether it's City or United away or Villa at home. But it doesn't eliminate what happened last night, and that still needs to be addressed. That's one side. Like I said, it's a big game on Sunday. They're obviously going really well, Chelsea. They're in a good space at the moment with a fairly healthy squad and in good form. Always a tough game against them, but we are at home, and we need to make sure we produce a performance like we have in the other games that have been similar to get something out of it.
Well, Ange Postecoglou has been able to produce big in big games, but why do they seem to keep having problems against teams that people expect them to beat, the likes of Ipswich, Palace, and now Bournemouth?
For me, the disappointment last night was there was a repeat of, sort of cycle of us going into games and, starting well enough, but then allowing the opposition to get a grip on it by either, conceding a sloppy goal like we did last night, or not taking our opportunities. And we need to break that cycle, irrespective of kind of where we're at the moment. We know we're really thin on the ground in terms of squad numbers. We know that there's not a lot of opportunity there to rotate and rest players. We obviously paid the price with Benny last night, but they're known things. What also is known is that we've repeatedly sort of shot ourselves in the foot in those kind of games like last night, and we need to change that.
Well, Ange Postecoglou, as I mentioned, did have a little moment with the supporters. He says he can understand the fans' frustrations.
The supporters are the supporters. They're invested in this club. Whoever's in charge, whichever the playing group is, and they will, feel what they feel, whether they can see what we're trying to do or they can't see what we're trying to do. I can't change that materially without there being evidence on the pitch that they can see. Now, if they can't see it at the moment, then it's up to me to make sure that they do see that.
The Australian has just made his way out of the tunnel. Tremendous atmosphere here in North London. The players emerge now, and this is the message from Ange Postecoglou to the Tottenham fans.
My message is I'm here. I'm going to fight to make sure we bring success to this football club. Nothing really changes. Where there's doubt, whether that's internally or externally, it just gives my resolve even stronger to make sure we get it right.
The message is, there's no message from Ange Postecoglou. He is out there in his technical area. Cole Palmer, the last man out for Chelsea, is shielding his eyes, looking up to see if he can spot, family and friends in the seats way up high in the stand where we find ourselves here in this incredible stadium, the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium, where Chelsea have the best record of any visiting team. 5 wins out of 7 visits to this stadium. 1 loss in the Premier League, 1 loss on penalties in the League Cup. No other side has won more than 3 here at the new Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. Will it be joy again for Chelsea, and will they trim that gap to Liverpool at the top, given they haven't played this weekend with that Merseyside derby being postponed? Or will it be Tottenham getting back to winning ways against one of the teams up there at the top of the table, as they did against Manchester City with that emphatic 4-0 win up at the Etihad? It's the only win in all competitions in their last 6 games. It's so curious, this Tottenham team. You never quite know what you're going to get, to borrow a line from a famous movie. Here we go then. Tottenham just stripping off their training tops. They're in the white shirts, blue shorts and white socks, and Chelsea all in blue. And what are we in store for here? Van der Ven darting towards the goal line, just warming up, getting ready to go here, back in the team, and the Tottenham fans will be praying that he can remain fit, given the problems Tottenham have had of late with injuries to the likes of Richarlison and Vicario, and now Davis, who's out, and the suspension of Bentancur. So this is how they line up. Fraser Forster in goal for Spurs. It's a back 4 of Pedro Porro, Christian Romero, who returns from a toe injury, Mickey van der Ven, who's also back as I mentioned, and Destiny Udogie, Dragusin and Archie Gray drop out. Ben Davis is injured with a hamstring strain, suffered at Bournemouth. A midfield of Yves Bissouma, Pape Sarr and Dejan Kulusevski, who drops a bit deeper. James Maddison is replaced by Son, who captains the team. He and Brennan Johnson are either side of Dominic Solanke, formerly of Chelsea, of course. As for the visitors, Chelsea, they're in such a strong position. They can make 7 changes to the team that walloped Southampton in the week. They have Robert Sanchez back in goal for Philip Jorgensen. Moses Caicedo drops into right back as Romeo Lavia replaces Marlo Gusto. and takes his place in the midfield. Benoit Badiashile and Levi Colwell are the centre defence, and replacing Tosin and Axel Disasi. Mark Cucurella continues at left back. Lavia is alongside Enzo Fernandez, the captain, at the heart of midfield. Cole Palmer just ahead of them, and then Jadon Sancho and Pedro Neto are in for João Felix and Noni Madueke, and Nicholas Jackson comes in for Christopher Nkunku up front. What an atmosphere, Bradley Allen. Brilliant to be here.
Fancy a game, Andy Rowley? You ready for a London derby?
Yeah,
let's go.
This is what it's all about. And no matter the form of either team, the fans want this as badly as ever, and there's no sign of the nerves and the fear maybe you'd expect after the run of games Tottenham have just had. Mickey van der Ven floats the ball forward for Solanke to chase. It's shielded back to his goalkeeper there by Benoit Badiashile, and then it's cleared upfield by Sanchez. Pedro Neto, former Wolves winger, moves it in field to the World Cup winner Enzo Fernandez, and now it's out to Mark Cucurella, left-hand side for Chelsea. Back with the Spaniard who won the Euros in the summer and was in the team of the tournament. Sanchez, out to Badiashile. Oh, that's a crazy ball across the middle, and it's picked up by Kulusevski. Can he light the blue touch paper here? Sends it out to the right, and Johnson's cross cut out by Cucurella. Someone had to shoot quicker there, surely.
Oh, he was a bit unselfish for his own good there. Crossfield pass, really wayward from Chelsea. Room and space to attack the edge of the box. Short corner been taken. It's Kulusevski in action again, Andy.
Oh, he dribbles past Jackson with ease, then tries to thread a pass through. It's come back to the Swede here. Kulusevski just trying to prod it away to Basuma, and Basuma manages to move it out to Pedro Porro. Low cross in, cut out by Chelsea, and Nicholas Jackson can try and dart away up the left-hand side. Back comes Basuma to try and cover Jackson, who's being booed roundly here. 4 goals against Tottenham last season, but it took quite a while to get the hat-trick here against the 9 men in that incredible 4-1 win for Chelsea last season, when Tottenham had Romero and Udogie red-carded, and Maddison and Van der Ven injured in a costly first half in a game that provided their first defeat in the league last season. Here's Jackson breaking into the box for Chelsea, turns, back heel to Sancho, little nutmeg to get it past Romero, then sends it back to the edge of the box to Enzo Fernandez. His shot comes off a Tottenham defender, and it'll go out for a first corner of the game for Chelsea. There's a couple of
brilliant start to the game already, Andy. What I can guarantee this afternoon, we're going to get some goals here. You can already see that, can't you? There's just too many good attacking players in selection starting this football match.
Yeah, you'd expect nothing less. There's quite a few things are being thrown onto the pitch in that corner. Look at that, Bradley. That's pretty disappointing. Cole Palmer being absolutely showered in various paper bags and rubbish. Must be like about 20 things that have been thrown down there as he prepares to take the corner. And they've been removed from the pitch now by a few stewards, and Palmer looks pretty nonplussed, ready to take this corner. Huge stand behind Forster's goal, making an enormous noise as Palmer pulls it back to the edge of the box to Enzo Fernandez, sends it back up the line to Palmer, whipped in, crossed by Palmer, and headed over the bar. No, headed on and wide towards the touchline. It's kept in actually by Sancho down here on the right hand side as Chelsea pull it back to the edge of the penalty area, and now back to Caicedo. Cucurella, Caicedo again, 2 former Brighton players combining there for Chelsea. Now out to Neto on the right hand side. Good covering there by Udogie. Showed him the outside and then got the tackle in. It's out for a Chelsea throw.
Yeah, the short corner on that left hand side was whipped in. It swirled in, didn't he, in these conditions from Palmer. I think it was Colwell who misjudged the fight of the ball. It skimmed off his head. Chelsea recycled on the right hand side, but good 1v1 defending there by Udogie against the impressive Neto.
Caicedo with the throw in then for Chelsea. Right back today, but tends to just move into that midfield. There's Palmer, plays it off Son, and it's going to be a throw into Chelsea, who just started to exert a bit of dominance here at the moment, just pinning Tottenham in after a pretty even start to the game. I mean, we've had less than 5 minutes, so it's very early days. As throw-in comes to Badiashile, moves it across the middle to Colwell. Colwell draws Tottenham out, and then Cucurella has slipped, and Brennan Johnson can race away out the right. They've got a 3-on-2 here. Tottenham, Brennan Johnson crossed in, and it's scored by Solanke. Solanke scores against his old club Chelsea, and what a costly mistake that was from Cucurella. Slipped, Brennan Johnson took it up the field, and his cross expertly turned it post by Dominic Solanke, and it's his 7th goal of the season, and it's Tottenham 1, Chelsea 0.
Brilliant on transition. Wrong footwear maybe, Cucurella, but Johnson pounced, sped down the right hand side, near post cross. Credit to Solanke for getting across his man, using the pace of delivery, first contact, and the ball's flashed into the top left hand corner to give Spurs an early goal in this London derby.
You're absolutely right, of course, Bradley, as a former centre forward. He's behind Colwell the whole way, and just in that last few strides, he darts in front of him. Colwell doesn't quite know where he is, and he gets the right foot to it.
He was just on his blind side, and that double movement from Solanke was terrific. He anticipated where the cross was coming, and importantly what top strikers do, he got the first contact. Not sure where Sanchez was diving there, Andy.
Yeah.
He vacated his goal.
Yeah, it's a strange one.
But Solanke got the key touch. Spurs in front.
Sanchez put under pressure by Solanke, just manages to get the clearance away left-footed, and it's gone out off Romero's header for a throw in at Chelsea. 0 Tottenham lead then, 6 minutes gone. What a start, and Bradley promised us goals. He'd read the way the game had started. Basuma just a bit too eager there to try and get the ball off Enzo Fernandez, and he's been adjudged to have fouled the Chelsea midfielder and captain today. Played out to Caicedo, edge of the D, his ball back to Colwell, good pass out from the England defender, and now they're on the move up the left hand side, Chelsea. It's Jadon Sancho dribbling the ball forward, plays it into the path of Enzo Fernandez, he clips it to Nicholas Jackson, floating it towards Pedro Neto. Udogi's header hasn't really got it clear, and Cucurella's up there now to play it up the touchline. Sancho infield to Jackson. Jackson, good turn, can't get past Romero though, and the Argentinian with a dangerous ball, almost like a back heel there to Kulusevski, but they've got away with it because Basuma's fouled as he tries to break away with the ball.
Yeah, there's a counter-attack on now. Took one for the team rather cynically, Caicedo, but really risky inside his own 18-yard box with that back flick after initial good defending from Romero. He's just took the knock as well.
So yeah, Basuma's just gone to have a word with Romero. He's only just back in the team. He's not looking that comfortable, is he, Bradley?
No, I don't know. There's a concern here.
Holding his right leg.
The manager's going to maybe look at his coaching staff and the medical team just to sort of double check that and make sure he's having a little stretch. Is that his right hamstring, possibly?
Yeah, just a little tweak by the looks of things. He's standing over the free kick, 8 minutes on the clock, 1-0 Tottenham lead here against Chelsea. Out to the left to Son. Son's ball in field, cut out by Colwell. Jackson, good bit of skill just to get that ball away from Romero in the first instance, but then Romero with a good challenge. Sarr though can't get it forward. It's won back by Lavia, and then Van der Ven thumps it away upfield. He's hit that with such force it's almost gone out for a goal kick at the other end, but Sanchez brings it down and then plays it forward to Badiashile. Back to the goalkeeper again, and that's a terrible left-footed pass out into touch from the goalkeeper, who just looks a bit rattled at the moment.
We spoke about this, didn't we, with the use and the playing out of feet of goalkeepers now, and the demand, the insistence of it.
Jackson trying to get away, Van der Ven's there though, and his ball forward doesn't quite reach a Tottenham player. Lavia's onto it, then Cole Palmer trying to get away, and Van der Ven is in there so quickly, can't quite get to the second ball ahead of Caicedo, but Son's backing him up here. Caicedo forced out towards the touchline. Palmer holds on to it and then goes down under.
Making it hot, aren't they? In 1v1 duels, whether Spurs are going to be able to muster the energy to do that across the course of a 98 minute game remains to be seen. But I think that early goal has certainly give these players a bit of a lift and confidence. Poor turnover there. Spurs could be through again.
Hits Lavia on the side of the head, and Tottenham get onto it but can't quite make the pass count, and Chelsea look to try and break out, but Kulusevski's in there again on Caicedo. The ball runs to Lavia, and he tries to dribble it away, but he's run into trouble as well. Palmer battling away for it, and Chelsea will just try and get it out to the left where there's a bit more space. Johnson closing down Cucurella. They're not giving Chelsea any time here, Tottenham.
No, it's great pressure, isn't it, from Spurs?
And another slip from Cucurella. They've surely got to chase those boots, or his studs. Here's Kulusevski on his left foot inside the Chelsea penalty area. Kulusevski! Oh wow! 2-0! Kulusevski slotted it right in the corner, dribbling across the box, hits it left-footed, and Tottenham are 2 up here against Chelsea. Would the real Tottenham Hotspur please stand up? You never know what you're going to get. 10 minutes gone, Tottenham 2, Chelsea 0.
Another mistake by the Chelsea left-back. Spurs pounce, brilliant composure, parallel across the 18-yard line from Kulusevski. Spurs' best player this season, struck through legs. Again, Sanchez to his left. It wasn't a massive amount of power on the shot, Andy. I think the Chelsea goalkeeper might have got to that, but the Spurs fans won't complain. 2 up so early in this London derby. What a start to this game.
Cucurella's changing his boots.
Yeah. I wonder if this will be checked. The forward pass to Kulusevski. Right corner of the 18-yard box, just inside it. Was he offside when he received the ball? It's through the legs of Lavia, isn't it?
It is.
Skidded beyond Sanchez. He was right in the corner.
Well, Cucurella's had 2 slips, and that has proven very costly for Chelsea, who trail 2-0 here against Tottenham. Well, if you thought
we got some goals, Andy. We predicted that. I'll tell you what, it won't be the end of that.
Yeah, you're right. Here they go again, Tottenham. Kulusevski down the left. It's Pape Sarr. He's got Udogie on the overlap. Sarr, he's got it into Son in the penalty area. Udogie's there as well. Can he hit this left-footed? Just wide.
Oh, what a chance.
Incredible start to this game from Spurs.
Sarr and Son combining left side of the Chelsea 18-yard box. Udogie on the angle, in a shooting position, and he's just dragged his effort wide. Might be offside actually, Andy.
Wow. Well, Bradley, Ange Postecoglou often says he won't change, and to be fair to them in this game, they have done exactly what he wants. He wants them to be aggressive, play high-tempo football, press high. They've done all 3 of those, and they've got the 2 goals to have given them this 2-0 lead. Free kick here. Let's go to the FA Cup, the Women's FA Cup. Brentford against Fulham at Bedfont Sports. Latest from Phil Parry.
Yeah, Fulham are leading by 2-1 with about 3 minutes to go, Andy. Brentford back on level turn through Chloe Logie one-on-one. Brilliant finish from the Brentford striker, but then down at the other end, Fulham. Initial shot saved by Evie Matic, but it was turned in by Maddie Whittock, should I say, the goalkeeper for Brentford, who are now pushing and probing, looking for an equaliser, but Fulham lead by 2-1.
Thanks very much indeed, Phil. Closing in on the full-time whistle in that one, unless there's a late goal. Romero's gone down.
It
looks like this might be a change. Late on in the Championship, West Brom 2, Sheffield United 2. The Blades leading the Championship, but the lead would only be a point if that game finishes in a draw. West Brom, it would be an 11th draw of the season for them in 19 games, which is some going. Earlier on in the Premier League, it was 2-2 between Leicester and Brighton. Brighton have been 2-0 up in that one till the 87th minute, and Bournemouth also scored 2 late goals to deny Ipswich a first home win of the league season Fulham 1, Arsenal 1 was our early commentary. Raul Jimenez scoring early for Fulham, but Saliba scoring from another Arsenal corner to get them back into it. But a late Bukayo Saka goal was chalked off for offside, and Tottenham are going to have to make a change. Romero is going to make way for Radu Dragusin, who's been playing plenty of games of late, so he would have probably been disappointed to have to drop out, the Romanian international, but he comes in early on anyway, and Romero might be heading for a bit more time out, which is a great shame. The World Cup winner up against his fellow Argentina player Enzo Fernandez today, but not for that long, as Cole Palmer plays it back to Benoit Badiashile, and then Colwell back to Sanchez, who didn't look like he really wanted that one, hits it left-footed up towards the halfway line. Dragusin chests it down and then plays it quite short to Pedro Porro, who had to whip it back to his goalkeeper Forster. Left-footed clearance from him up towards Son. Good header in field to Solanke, who's able to chest that down.
I think the England striker and Spurs goal scorer of the first goal was just offside there. But I think he's disappointed, the Spurs manager, with that early sub that he's had to make with Romero. Whether he was touch and go, he obviously made the decision, you know, to put him back in the starting lineup, but whether perhaps he's not 100% fit, so he's got to change it. Dragusin in, who has been playing, like you say, Andy, 15 minutes in. Change at the heart of the Spurs defence. Good ball in behind Neto, using his pace against Udogie.
Nicholas Jackson trying to run onto the flick on Pedro Porro, gets back and heads it to Fraser Forster, the former Celtic goalkeeper, rolls it out. Now it's Pape Sarr up that left touch line. Son back to Sarr again, and Basuma. Van der Ven, hugely popular player since arriving in North London, controls the ball on the left foot and then sends it upfield to Son. Good work to get that in field, and then a great pass to Kulusevski. Oh, and that was a brilliant sliding tackle from Badiashile. If he hadn't got that right, Kulusevski might have been away with
he might have just towed it past him in that 1v1, and Spurs had space to exploit on that left-hand side, but they continue to jump and go after Chelsea. I think if the visitors find the quality and just break that initial press, then there'll be good space themselves to break into for their really creative players in the opposite direction.
Another good run from Jadon Sancho. He's drilled it in off the post. It's a brilliant strike. Forster, even with all his height and reach, couldn't get to that. Sancho cutting it off that left-hand side, drilled it low, and it's in off the post, and they've got one back. Tottenham 2, Chelsea 1.
Switch of play. There was the explanation there. Sancho jinking, running onto his strong right foot, hit it round Van der Ven, bit unsighted Forster, in off that far post. Chelsea right back in this one, 2-1.
Well, who knows where this one's going to end. Enzo Maresca celebrating that one, punching the air as the ball is cleared away by Tottenham up to Solanke, and then Chelsea have it with Colwell. He'll go back to Sanchez again. 17 minutes gone, already 3 goals. Cucurella up the touchline to Enzo Fernandez. Dragusin followed him out there, and Fernandez has got a free kick. And Chelsea move it back in field. It's now 1 clean sheet in 23 Premier League games at home for Tottenham. Just that 4-0 win over Everton provided a clean sheet in the Premier League, and that run started with the 4-1 defeat to Chelsea here last November. Only 1 clean sheet since that match, this corresponding fixture last season at home here in the league, as Chelsea have it. Now they're going to play it forward to Jackson. He's trying to get away from Van der Ven, and Van der Ven has the pace just to deal with that and send it out for a throw-in to Chelsea over near that corner flag.
Yeah, just starting to carry more confidence here, aren't they? Chelsea playing with a bit of arrogance. That litter again has been thrown onto the pitch over that far side. The referee just saying to Sancho, keep his nerve. He just threw it back, didn't he? A bit frustrated. and rightly so. That that shouldn't happen. There shouldn't be things thrown onto the pitch.
Yeah, absolutely. Certainly blow around today as well. As the ball is played to Palmer, Son almost picked that off, and he might well have been in if he had done. Then a good interception from Pape Sarr, plays it up to Solanke, try to get away in that very, very difficult area with 3 Chelsea players around him. Lavia just got something on it as he was just trying to hold the ball up, and then Sarr has missed an interception there, and Chelsea will come forward and try and exploit the space he's vacated. It's Enzo Fernandez out to the goal scorer Sancho, but his cross got way too much on it. He sliced it a bit, and it's out for a goal kick.
Big chance.
Tottenham.
There's my point. If you miss the press, with the quality that they've then got at a 4v4, 5v5 in an attacking scenario, Sanchez's cross lacked a little bit of quality. Hard and low was required around the back of the Spurs defence.
Solanke
just for a
really
few minutes. Solanke's working so hard, but he's just becoming a bit isolated, isn't he? And where Spurs early doors were able to support, with him leading that front line brilliantly and pressing centre halves and goalkeeper, the Spurs players have got to get up behind him. Jackson's offside there down the left. The assistant's not up with play.
Van der Ven, the only man back with him, but now more have arrived as that ball is sent to Cole Palmer.
What a miss
hit from Cole Palmer. The goal was begging there, but he couldn't put it away. Then Kulusevski is fouled by Lavia. Second time he's brought a Tottenham player down on the break. He's going to get booked.
He wasn't sure, the ref. It was the crowd actually that earned that free kick for Spurs and the yellow card. But Cole Palmer, usually composed, clinical in those situations, completely scuffed his effort.
It was great football, wasn't it?
Yeah, Chelsea's cutback.
It's all over in our Women's FA Cup tie we were keeping an eye on today. Brentford against Fulham at Bedfont. Let's go to Phil Parry.
Yeah, and it's Fulham from the higher division who go through, and all goals in the second half. They've won by 2-1. Eddie Olds just after the break, putting Fulham ahead after a very, very even first half, maybe shaded by Brentford. Brentford back on level terms. Chloe Logie darting in one-on-one to convert. Really good finish from her, but Brentford were only level for a matter of a couple of minutes because Maddie Parsonson's down the other end after a good save by the Brentford keeper. Evie Whittock just turned it in on the rebound, and Fulham progressed to the fourth round. They've beaten Brentford by 2-1.
Thanks very much indeed, Phil. Charlton also winning today in that competition, as left arm in the air from Son. Kulusevski's won Tottenham a corner here, swung in and headed away at the near post by Chelsea. Son heads it down to Kulusevski again, up against Pedro Neto, keeps it in, brilliant bit of skill. Neto sticks at it though and gets the ball away to Jackson, and now Chelsea have got a real break on. Tottenham have only got 2 defenders back. Son busting a gut to get there, but it's Udogie who gets the tackle in on Jackson, and now Chelsea have maybe overcommitted a bit. Tottenham move it out to the right hand side, leading by 2-1. Udogie is still going forward, keeps it in at the byline, but Colwell can try and clear it away only as far as Brennan Johnson. His cross brought down on the edge of the 6-yard box by Chelsea, and then sent out to Neto on the right touchline, and then cleared up field towards Enzo Fernandez. Pedro Porro battling away for it, and he's got it and sends it back to his goalkeeper Forster.
What a game, Andy.
It's on a knife edge.
Oh wow, it's so frantic, isn't it, in attacking moments. You know, the huge crowd inside this amazing Tottenham Hotspur stadium, they're not on the edge of the seat, they're standing up, aren't they? It's just wonderful spectacle. So lucky to be here.
Incredible.
Oh,
Solanke, what a turn. He sent Son away down the left hand side. Johnson's there for him in the area if he wants to use him. It's still Son. Oh, just past the angle of the post and bar. He almost curled it into that top corner, as he's done on so many occasions for Tottenham, but he just couldn't find the spot he was looking for, and it remains 2-1 to Spurs.
Well, cleverly, Spurs are trying to, with Son 1v1. They know Caicedo is not a natural right back. I think this season, to be fair to the former Brighton midfielder, is justifying his enormous price tag since signing from Brighton, but you know, Spurs are going at him, and he's having to do more full-back work here and not rolling in and being the bottom of that box where Chelsea want him in their 3-4-3 in possession.
I find it an interesting selection, that, Bradley, because you know, Gusto could quite comfortably play right back, and you don't take away the strength of Caicedo in the midfield.
And he's had a pretty good start to the season for Chelsea, hasn't he?
Yeah.
He's athletic, but there's I think discipline in his defending, good, so he don't mind defending 1v1. Spurs have played out and given it away. Good chance of Chelsea here.
Jackson trying to hold the ball up. 2 challenges from Tottenham, and they've got it away out to the left of Son. He didn't see Lavia coming, who's come in pretty hard there. Put it out in a touch, but no foul. And Spurs have a throw in on the left-hand side. Frantic stuff. But yeah, he obviously got faith in Lavia, and another player signed for a lot of money. So Chelsea will want to bring him in, but are you taking something away by moving Caicedo out of there? As Badiashile heads that ball out in a touch, Solanke went down as Badiashile went for the header, but no foul. The French international comes in again, leaps above Solanke, heads it out in a touch. The Tottenham fans don't like it, but it just looks like good strong defending for me.
It's all right, Solanke won't be fazed by that. He'll keep going. You expect that.
It's good
size and
Solanke trying to get away down that touchline. Caicedo comes to help out Badiashile, and it is actually going to be given as a free kick for holding from the French centre-back Badiashile, and it will be another chance for Spurs to get this ball into the danger zone.
I think importantly as well, there's a bit of a fine balance here, and he isn't there for Spurs in terms of this attacking impetus that they've got, and this wonderful go for it attitude which we've seen within the first 25 minutes of this game. But at times they're going to have to control possession as well, and just keep the ball for a sustained spell to stop Chelsea getting attacks and getting that ball to the dangerous players that they've got. Good play from Johnson holding off Cucurella. Nice.
Oh, lovely little flick for Brennan Johnson to continue his run. In comes a cross down the right hand side. It's Kulusevski. Oh, he's broken all the way to the byline. Now he gets across him, but the flag and the referee bring a halt to proceedings.
He just popped up off of that cross, and the referee deemed Kulusevski, the Swede, had handballed it.
Love that little flick. Brennan Johnson and Pedro Porro combining down that right flank.
He hit his chest.
Well,
he just asked the ref there.
That's a shame for Tottenham. That was a promising attack as the ball is cleared upfield for Chelsea by Sanchez. If you're just joining us on BBC Radio London, it finished 1-1 between Fulham and Arsenal at Craven Cottage in the earlier kickoff, and it's already 2-1 to Tottenham against Chelsea here after 26 minutes of the first half at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. Only one win in their last 11 Premier League meetings with Chelsea for Spurs. And Chelsea had a good record here at Tottenham Hotspur Stadium since the move as well, as Dragusin and Jackson battling away there, and the referee says there was no foul as Jackson ended up on his haunches. Now it's floated out towards Sancho, the Chelsea goal scorer, but headed away by Pedro Porro just before it can reach him. Now all the way back to Colwill, just inside his own half. Lavia. Out to Palmer on the right-hand side. Forward to Neto. Neto trying to get away from Udogie. It's been tripped there, and it's a free kick for Chelsea.
More often than not, he's going to come back in on that stronger left foot, isn't he, Neto, with that drop of shoulder, and just tag clumsy there, Udogie. Free kick, Palmer. Fernandez over this, good position for Chelsea. A little bit quieter now within the stadium. Chelsea can put this into a dangerous area.
Well, Tottenham have conceded the opening goal in 13 of the previous 16 home Premier League matches in 2024, but they had a lightning start today with those 2 early goals. Sancho has got one back, so Chelsea will be looking to take things back to square one if they can get a goal from this free kick. It's too far out for Palmer to have a strike on goal, you would think. It might be Enzo Fernandez to send it in. Here he comes, right-footed delivery straight across the 6-yard box really, and out for a goal kick, which Fraser Forster will take as Dragusin clears a bit more rubbish off that corner of the field. It's that ball played up towards Kulusevski, looking really lively here, like he really wants to show everyone what he can do, but Cucurella just beats him for pace there. It's one thing with Kulusevski, he's no slouch, but I did get the
challenge
feeling
from Sarr. Cucurella is always going to take the contact there. That would be a yellow card against the Spurs midfielder. Try to clear it up the line. Chelsea left. Free kick. Yellow for Sarr.
Yeah, it was actually, as he came in to tackle, Cucurella kicked into Sarr's shin, but the ball was gone, and it's a free kick and a yellow card against Pape Sarr.
Yeah, he's often very clever, isn't he, in those situations, the Chelsea fullback.
Well, he wasn't that smart with his footwear at the start of the game, that's for sure, as that ball is played out by Chelsea down the right hand side for a throw into Tottenham. Udogie will take it.
Yeah, the point, going back to it, Andy, about goalkeepers and playing out, how comfortable, how confident is Sanchez, and what Spurs have done is, with Solanke especially, they've jumped and pressed that, and often from his pass, it's not a great one, it stitches up one of the Chelsea defenders sometimes, but they have built well here. And now to Chelsea goal scorer Sancho on the left.
Looks for Jackson, into the box he comes, pulls it back just behind Fernandes, and then Palmer can't reach it as it's cleared by Udogie. Kulusevski dinks it to Solanke, he's caught by Colwell, that'll potentially be a free kick. The referee's allowed play to continue. The referee Anthony Taylor, but there wasn't much advantage of Tottenham in that. They still have possession though, and it's Kulusevski out on the right hand side. Name check before the Bournemouth game as Tottenham's best player this season by his manager, and that's gone out for a throw-in which Cucurella takes quickly. The Tottenham players were almost entirely expecting a throw into them there. Here comes Cole Palmer, he's going to strike one, Forster with a good left hand, Neto cutting back on his left foot, another good save, left foot this time from Forster, and he's kept it at 2-1.
He's used all his experience, isn't he, since coming into the side, Forster, for the unfortunate Vicario with his ankle fracture and long-term injury, but he's made some brilliant saves in recent games, and a double there, firstly from Palmer, then from Neto.
Wow, really had to stretch for both of those down to his left, that kept them out, and it remains 2-1 to Spurs as Neto floats a pass out to Sancho on the left-hand side for Chelsea, just outside the Spurs penalty area. Now back to Cucurella, and Colwell almost caught in possession there by Solanke, and
he's really lucky, Colwell,
his goalkeeper.
I think if Son would have gone on the press there with Solanke, who was really energetic, they might have been able to double team the England centre half, and then there would have been a half a pitch for Spurs to break into.
Well, both sides playing what some would consider a dangerous game on the halfway line with some of the play in possession, but it makes for an incredibly entertaining match as Son barged off it there by Caicedo, Lavia, and Caicedo coming in there, and Sarr has been caught.
Yeah, he's a bit over the ball there.
Caicedo
just got away from him, maybe the follow through, he's got to knock himself.
I think the referee's not taking any action actually.
Yeah. Actually, Sarr is perhaps been a bit too honest for his own good there, and he's sort of rather gingerly picking himself up. He towed it away. Oh, this might be looked at. I wonder.
It's on the shin.
I wonder if this might be looked at. I said he was over the ball. It's a kick out, isn't it? Because he mistimed it. Caicedo. He's lucky.
Wow. His studs were
he had one like that here last season, Curtis Jones, and he got sent off. Sarr trying to stride down the right. Great run from the young midfielder.
Sarr fortunately able to continue at the moment. He's darted all the way down the left, and he's managed to force a corner here.
Hey Andy, there's been some good 33 minutes of Premier League football this season, right up there. How good's this?
Absolutely. Well, it just makes you wonder what was happening at Bournemouth, doesn't it?
It does.
Just didn't look like scoring really.
Some football match this.
But this is fantastic, and what an atmosphere, what a stadium. BBC Radio London live here in North London for Chelsea's game here with Tottenham, and it's Spurs leading by 2-1. And here comes a corner to be sent in by the captain Son. Whipped in onto the crossbar, and the header.
Oh, what a chance.
Just over the bar from Sarr.
Amazing delivery from Son. And he didn't need as good as header as what he did. He just needed a glance.
Off the bar. It's actually come off the
against
bar.
the crossbar.
Sarr
took up a great position. Sarr there.
Could have been 3-1.
Anything under the crossbar with a headed attempt, Spurs would have had a third.
Well, 11 minutes to go to half-time. And that's another awful play out from Sanchez. It's left by Solanke. Son is onto it. Solanke can't turn it in. Son's cross straight back to Solanke, but he just couldn't get his feet right, seemingly, to prod that past Sanchez, who's put his side in even more trouble there.
Now he's fallen over. Another player.
Enzo Fernandez.
What's going on with the footwear
stumbling
tonight?
Just as Chelsea looked like they were on a break. And then a little foot in there from Pedro Porro almost won it back for Tottenham. Chelsea playing it through the middle. Lovely pass from Lavia out to Palmer, and now Neto hugging the right touchline. The Portuguese cutting into the penalty area. Udogie goes brilliantly with him there. That's absolutely class defending. Shoulder to shoulder, won it while staying on his feet.
Played.
And now they play it out up the touchline. Kulusevski, he just was trying to prod that through to Udogie, who continued his run down the left. Now Neto's back on the ball for Chelsea. Gives it to Enzo Fernandez. Fernandez, one of two players who've cost over 100 million in this Chelsea team. Good tackle by Kulusevski on Palmer. And Tottenham can look to try and get the ball away here. Son, heavy touch, giving it straight to Palmer. Now it's out to the left. Sancho pushed a little wide here. Pedro Porro goes across to try and deal with him. Pull back to Cole Palmer, just outside the box. Drags it into the box and then dinks it, lays it off to Sancho. Now Cucurella. Sancho again. Palmer. Great pass from Sancho. Palmer to Jackson. It's cleared away by Van der Ven. And Chelsea get to the loose ball first. They've still got it out on this right-hand side with Caicedo. Up the right from the Ecuadorian to Neto. Now Lavia.
Good spell. Just showing a little bit of arrogance here, Chelsea, aren't they, in possession, moving the ball, making Spurs work. The Tottenham fans responding, acting as a 12th man, trying to be the barrier there, and Spurs having to collectively work very hard here for a few minutes without the ball. Offside Neto. Spurs can have a breather.
Well, that's a waste. He would have been in line looking across there. Neto had no real reason to stray offside. Just in that passage of play, Bradley, you saw the physicality of that Chelsea midfield with Enzo and Caicedo and Lavia in particular. They really get at.
He's a young player, Lavia, that I'm aware of. He went to Southampton, but having been at Man City's academy, they paid a few quid for him when he was a young sort of teenage prodigy. He had a bad injury initially at Chelsea, but he really is a modern day holding midfield player, and he connects it, he makes it tick. And going back to your point about Caicedo at right back, he's put him in there because obviously, Maresca really trusts him and he thinks he's going to be the real deal in the coming seasons.
The story goes he was spotted by Pep Guardiola at a Anderlecht training session once upon a time as a youngster, and that's how he got his move to Man City. Good bit of control there by Neto, but Palmer's been robbed of the ball by Bissouma. That's a great pass infield from Udogie, back to him from Kulusevski. Udogie comes in field. That's a pass off the outside of the boot that missed Bissouma. It's gone straight to Nicholas Jackson. He's got Neto in support out on the right hand side. Plays the pass directly to his feet. Now it's back with Jackson. He's going to hit this. It's come off at Dragusin. Corner to Chelsea.
Yeah, that's where Spurs have got to be careful. Just a little bit of fatigue is setting in because this has been played at such a breakneck speed for 38 minutes. That concentration sometimes, Andy, on a simple pass, and you turn the ball over and then you give that chance for your opponents with such brilliant attacking players to then on transition counter, use, exploit the space. That's where Spurs have got to be careful.
Here comes a load more garbage down onto the corner of the field. 7 minutes to go till the break. As here comes a corner from the left-hand side. It's headed away by Solanke. Great header. Edge of his 6-yard box from the England forward. Out for a throw into Chelsea. Coming up at half-time, we'll get reaction to the games involving Fulham and Arsenal men, as well as hear from the Arsenal women's manager as Chelsea move it out to the right-hand side to Neto. Back it goes to Badiashile. Now Caicedo. Colwell in the centre circle to Cucurella. And now Sancho. Enzo Fernandez out there with him. Sancho tried to flick that ball down the line as Fernandez played it behind him, but it was a difficult one to control, and it's out for a throw in to Spurs, who still lead 2-1 with 5.5 minutes of the first 45 to go here at this incredible Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. Tottenham coming into the game in 11th place, 20 points. Chelsea starting this Premier League weekend second on 28 points. Arsenal have gone past in virtue of a point at Fulham. Chelsea can go back into that position and close the gap on Liverpool if they were to turn this around, but at the moment mille points is what they're getting, but there's such a long way to go in this one, as Caicedo has it on the halfway line. He's got Palmer there with him, holds on to possession though for Chelsea, and for the first time in the match so far just slows to a bit of a walking pace. Even these guys can't keep it up.
Key 5 or 6 minutes though, I think, here for Spurs to work relentlessly, work together to get themselves through in front. But
great pass from Palmer. Nicholas Jackson into the box. Jackson puts it over. Great effort to get back there from Dragusin, who just put him off enough and got something on that actually as Jackson got the shot away, and it's a corner to Chelsea.
Yeah, playing through the lines off the back of the Spurs midfield. Palmer, lovely awareness from him, but what top defending there from the Romanian. 1v1, slid across, brilliant, and blocked Jackson's goal-bound effort.
Absolutely brilliant, as you say, Bradley. He's feeling it, I think, Dragusin.
Yeah, on the follow-through, I think he's took a knock to the outside of his right ankle there. But a corner now, 41 minutes for Spurs to defend.
Here comes plenty more garbage from the fans in that corner of the ground. This is not a great spectacle. Well, the game is, but this is not what you want to see.
Yeah,
it's surrounded by rubbish. Palmer.
The flags.
Is that what it is? Yeah.
Made the emblem, which looked spectacular pre-kickoff that the club had put out, actually has been scrunched up and thrown onto the pitch here. Well,
they might have to rethink that, because it's holding up the game now. You know, it might be what the Tottenham fans want at the moment, actually, because they want to take a bit of the heat out of this Chelsea effort to get back on level terms before half-time. But I mean, it's incredible how much rubbish has been thrown down in that corner of the stadium around Cole Palmer. It's still coming down as well. Palmer. Here comes the corner, whipped into the near post. Solanke is there again. Great header away. It's the sort of role Harry Kane played for so many years.
Yeah, he's having a storm with Solanke, isn't he?
Post.
Absolutely brilliant performance from him.
His effort levels are amazing, aren't they? He's run himself into the ground.
Staggering, Andy.
He hasn't run himself into the ground. He's still going strong, but it's amazing effort. As Caicedo plays it out to the right to Enzo Fernandez. Palmer's ahead of him, and he is pushed back towards the halfway line by Tottenham. 2 minutes of the first 45 before the break, and any added time, of course, on top of that, as Palmer moves it out to the right. Enzo Fernandez's cross met by Mickey van der Ven, who puts it behind for another corner, and we've got loads of stewards coming on now to clear some of the rubbish that has come down, but I'm not going to be Nostradamus by saying I reckon there's a few more bits coming here as Palmer goes across to take another corner. The thing is, of course, Bradley, I mean, some people would say it's relatively harmless, with some of it being paper and flags, as you say, but you just don't know if someone will do something idiotic and it'll be something harder. Here comes the corner from Palmer, headed away under real pressure there by Van der Ven. Chelsea have got it on the edge of the box. Palmer's going to whip it back in here for Shaw, sends it into the back post, headed back towards Badiashile, comes to Cucurella, he tries to tee it up on the edge of the box. Cucurella again, he's floated it over the bar, and it'll be a goal kick to Tottenham.
Yeah, and Spurs can take time.
The message has come on saying that VAR did check for a potential red card following the challenge by Caicedo on Sarr.
Yeah,
and confirmed the referee's call
been
of no
a few of them, and
play.
it's a grey area, isn't it? And, you know, again, it can sometimes be.
As you said, Bradley, you've seen them given, haven't you?
Yeah, absolutely.
And if he'd given a yellow card, it might have been upgraded, I suppose. Here's Caicedo, Lavia rather, trying to play that forward to Jackson.
They're pushing here, Chelsea, aren't they? They're just sensing, probing, working the ball.
Neto
into that 18-yard box.
The former Wolves winger moving it infield. Now Lavia out to Caicedo. His cross pulled back towards Sancho, edge of the penalty area. He's got Cucurella on the overlap. Closed down by Brennan Johnson. Now it's come to Cole Palmer in the D. Almost found Neto, but it was the other number 7, Son, who gets it back to his goalkeeper, Fraser Forster. We're going to have 2 minutes of added time at the end of this first half.
I think we've got a pattern of the game that we can, you know, eagerly look forward to in the second half. You know, Spurs are going to at times have to sort of play on the break like this.
Kulusevski trying to get away.
Got a 1v1. He can keep going.
Colwell's with him.
No.
He's going to try and send a cross in for Brennan Johnson, but it was way too close to the goalkeeper Sanchez, and it's going to be moved out from the back by the former Brighton goalkeeper. Now with Colwell, part of that England under-21 side that won the European Championships. Back with Chelsea now after that successful loan on the south coast, as Kulusevski's been adjudged to have just caught Lavia there. He very nearly got the ball back in another of those really dangerous places.
It was that similar wayward crossfield pass right at the start of the game where Kulusevski had an opportunity in the opening minutes of the game. Oh, he's half a yard away there, wasn't he? Ever so close, just caught the heel of Lavia, who's taken his time to get up.
Yeah, just trod on
Spurs have just got to concentrate.
Trod on his left foot. He's actually held the back of his head there, Lavia, as he went down, but don't know how much contact there was. But Kulusevski, he had to go for that. I think Bradley was one of those that was there, and if he got in suddenly, he could have had that third just before half time.
You know, they're in, I think, will be, from a tactical point of view, the Tottenham coaches, managers point at half time, that jump, that press when they engage and getting it right, the timing of that is going to be really important.
Ball upfield from Badiashile to Palmer, doesn't come off. Palmer did his best to try and keep it in, but it's out for a throw into Spurs, and that's the 2 minutes up at the end of this first half. And the referee thought he was going to blow his whistle there, but I think yes, he has. The crowd actually cheered it, although he hadn't actually blown the half-time whistle. He was blowing for the free kick and for the throw-in rather, and the game resumed. In the end, he thought, well, I think both sets of players have decided it's about enough, and so the fans, and the Tottenham fans at the moment probably the happier, although they will be wary because Chelsea really came at them after the Sancho goal back. But it's Tottenham who have the advantage at the break. Half-time here in North London. It's Tottenham 2, Chelsea 1.
BBC Radio London,
the home of London football.
Well, Bradley, what did you make of that first half? I mean,
some half, Andy.
It really
probably the best half of football I've seen in the Premier League, involving not one but two London teams. Outstanding quality, the speed, the tempo that the game's been played at is just unbelievable. We're so fortunate to be here. 2-1 to Spurs, just about on balance of play. Spurs as an attacking force and the energy that they've produced have been really good, but Chelsea have shown some real quality themselves when they've combined, played through midfield, broke the back of the Spurs midfield and press, and the attacking players then got at the Spurs defence. They've had to do a little bit of defending. 5-10 minutes before the end, Van der Ven, sub Dragusin now on replacing Romero. Forster, a good important double save. Not the end of the goal score in this one, and we've got some second half to look forward to. Still don't know what way this one's going to go.
Given how Tottenham retreated a bit in the second quarter of that game, if you like, how important is it that they kind of had that same surge they had at the start of the game? Because otherwise they'll be set in for quite a half of really defending and looking to hit on the counter from deep.
It's a excellent point you make, and I think with how high the Spurs line is, and when they do press and go after the ball and engage, you've actually got to win the ball, because if you get played through, like Chelsea are starting to show, and this key point 10 minutes before half time, these Chelsea players have got such wonderful quality in 1v1, in 2v1, and they can work the ball into key goal scoring positions, and more often than not they'll take their chances, and they're really clinical in front of goal. And of course Maresca has the luxury of turning to Felix, Madueku and Kunku, finishers, players that can add quality and are even better that can come from the bench. That's what he has at his disposal. What Spurs have got to do is, when they now break themselves on the counter, attacking the wonderful South stand that has packed this afternoon away to our right hand side, they've got to make sure if there's a third goal scoring opportunity for Spurs, they've got to really take it, because they might need not only 3, maybe 4, maybe 5 goals here, Andy.
Yeah, it's very, very
so finely poised, isn't it?
It is indeed. And you look at that bench for Chelsea, how stacked it is. You look at Tottenham's with the players that they have missing at the moment, and you just wonder how much they can change the game if Chelsea were to get back on level terms or ahead. It's certainly a quandary for the manager, but that's why they're paid the big bucks. And we've got the second half commentary to come for you live here with BBC Radio London Sport on DAB, and what a mouth-watering prospect it is. Well, we've had plenty of football earlier on this afternoon. Arsenal women winning 4-0 in the Women's Super League at the Emirates Stadium against Aston Villa, and one of their goal scorers, Stina Blackstenius, in that 4-0 win, spoke to BBC Radio London's Emily Herbert after the match.
I'm really happy, enjoyed that result today, and great coming back from international break and get that win today.
You're 8 games unbeaten now, 3 consecutive clean sheets. You're on absolutely flying form at the minute.
I think we all feel like we enjoy playing right now, and to get the results we want and we need, and I hope we can continue like that.
And obviously you're under an interim manager at the minute, Renee Sleggers. Are you enjoying playing under her?
Yes we are, and then we will see how it goes.
What's the main changes, do you think, since she's come in? Like, why have you flipped this corner?
It's really hard to say. I think we got a really we got a good start, and it's a good environment to be in, and I think we just got it from there, and then a few good results that we have.
You're up to 3rd in the table on goal difference. You're in great form, and you're up there competing for the title. Can you go all the way this season?
I really hope so, and we still have so much to play for, and we want to continue like this and get the results, and then hopefully we have something to play for.
Well, that was one of the goal scorers for Arsenal this afternoon. But how did their head coach feel about it afterwards? Renee Sleggers spoke to Emily Herbert as well.
It's a great result, clean sheet as well. I think we share possession today with Aston Villa, where we normally have the majority of possession against other opposition. But I think from a ruthlessness perspective and how clinical we are in both boxes, we don't allow them anything in the first half. They have a couple of white crosses in the second, but they never really get dangerous. I think very, very strong performance on the girls as well, with a couple of changes in the team and new players coming in. I think they were brilliant picking up those roles.
You're 8 games unbeaten and 3 consecutive clean sheets since October 2022. Are you enjoying it?
Yes, I am.
On the sidelines, would you want to get it full time? If they offered it to you, would you take it?
Well, I am enjoying working with the team, and most important today was to get the win. I'm very happy with the result and the clean sheet, and now everything we focus on is Vålerenga on Thursday. The games come quick.
Stina Blackstenius, 100 appearances for the Arsenal. Great finish today, tops it off with a goal, and also what a player she is.
Yeah, she's fantastic. Actually, I've played with Stina when I was younger. Stina was 16, 17, I think, in Sweden. So I've seen her grow from when she was so young to where she is now. I think you could already see her strengths when she was young, her physicality, her speed, but all the other things she's added to her game. She's so good. She's so good.
Can I just get some confirmation on Kim Little as well, obviously not being in the team sheet today? Is she okay?
She trained yesterday, just a precaution, and we know this block is very thick on games, so we didn't use her today, and we'll assess further.
And also, just finally, Emily Fox off at half-time for Lotte Wieber-Moy. Was that just to get some minutes into Lotte, or is Fox okay as well?
It was both. It was good to get Lotte back on pitch and give her some decent minutes, and also for Foxy, who's played a lot, both for us and for the US.
Well, good result for Arsenal's women today in the Women's Super League, but Chelsea's women continue their perfect record. They won 4-2 against Brighton and Hove Albion today. West Ham winning 5-2 against WSL newcomers Crystal Palace. Tottenham 2-1 winners over Everton, and Manchester United 4-0 against Liverpool, and Man City 4-0 against Leicester in the other games. In the Championship, Men's Championship, West Brom 2, Sheffield United 2. The leaders, Sheffield United, held to a point. West Brom with an 11th draw of the season, quite amazingly. And earlier in the Premier League, Ipswich were winning for most of the game against Bournemouth, but conceded twice late and lost 2-1 at home again. Leicester 2-2 against Brighton after being 2-0 down. 2 late goals for them as well. And it finished Fulham 1, Arsenal 1 in our early commentary. Raul Jimenez scoring for Fulham early. William Saliba with another goal from a set piece for Arsenal. And then Saka had a goal disallowed for offside late on. It means that Arsenal don't quite trim the Liverpool lead as they'd hoped to. But they do get a point. And Fulham, well, they've once again had another good result against one of the top teams in the league, but they are 2 points behind Forest, who are 5th, but they are actually in the bottom half of the table, would you believe, on 23 points from their 15 games. After the game, we heard from both managers on BBC Radio London. Marco Silva, the Fulham manager, was in conversation with the BBC's George Cummings.
Okay.
Marco, you must be pretty pleased with that result.
Yes, good result for us in a really tough game. Different type of game not normally like to play. Performance-wise, I have to say that wasn't the best one from ourselves, but I have to praise the players for the commitment, the attitude, the fighting spirit. They stuck with the plan and they executed the plan in a tough game. I think second half I felt the team a little bit with less energy than the first one, and the last Thursday night game, my opinion, made a big impact on our second half performance too. But even so, okay, first half, great goal from us, open play, great goal from ourselves. It was difficult for us to, after that, of course, Arsenal changed completely the pressure, come man-on-man situation every single time, and you know, when you have a team playing man-on-man every single time, you have to be able to take some risks. And of course, the mindset of the players, when you are winning 1-0 against Arsenal, you don't want to take any risk, and we went a little bit more direct. Of course, in some moments we connected well and we were able to play in our offensive half first half. In some moments, not so many like I would like, but more control on the ball definitely from Arsenal. I really believe that first half we did control well them. Okay, one chance from Declan Rice, if I remember, and to be honest, nothing really more from them, even if much more control on the ball. Second half, different, they pushed us even more back. We are not able to, after to connect our counter-attacks or to start to play a little bit more in our offensive half. Credits to them as well. Lack of energy, in my opinion, a little bit more second half from ourselves. But not many, much more dangerous moments from them, but not clear chances. That is the reality. In terms of plan, I think the players executed. Fighting spirit was top there. The commitment as well. On the ball wasn't our best performance, and we have to realize as a whole, I think the point is a good point for us, even if always the ambition is they are the three.
It's been a very good week for Fulham, hasn't it? I mean, you must be pretty pleased. I think you're up to 10th now, and that's a great week for the club.
No, definitely. I think it's something that we have been changing. It's been a long journey with this in this football club with these players as well. I remember when I first came, and the season in Premier League. Every time we had a London derby, the questions were that the record is really poor from Fulham, that Fulham was not able to respond in that type of games, and the reality, the numbers are just the numbers, I know, but they are facts. The last 9 London derbies you have been unbeaten, and doesn't matter against who have been there. this afternoon slightly in a different way. For example, 8 days ago against Tottenham, we were dominant. We play in our way. We play so well against a top side as well. But the reality that the team is being able to respond in different ways. And this afternoon, we did it really well again.
He's right. What a great record that is in derbies. And they were up to 10th, but as Tottenham are winning on the live table, Fulham in the bottom half of the table, amazingly, despite the good week they've had. But what about Arsenal? Mikel Arteta, well, he was very happy after the wins against West Ham and Manchester United, but held to the draw at Craven Cottage this afternoon. Here are the thoughts of the Gunners manager, Mikel Arteta.
Well, very disappointing not to win it, because I think we fully deserve to earn the 3 points from the start to the end, and the way we played, the way we dominated the game. But this is the Premier League. They had one shot, score one goal, and from there on you have to play a different game, obviously, and we tried our best, generating much more in the second half than in the first one, obviously, and I love the way the team tried, the way the team find ways to create threat and difficulties to opponent, because I know how difficult it is to do against them, and then it's the smallest margins to win or not win in this league, and when you think that you have won it, they are taking it away from you with the VAR because of the offside, and that's a difficult one to take.
How hard is it for the players to take that? How do they feel? Because that is the finest of margins in what potentially is a huge match for you.
It is, but what you demanding to do, they absolutely do it. I mean, it was a joy. I haven't seen a team dominate the way they did it to this team, and that's the pathway. That if we do that, the winning probability will be so high to continue to win, and that's the only way that we can think of. And then, work on those small margins, because we had some big chances as well. I will then put away and try to do everything so well that at the end there's no chance for the position.
What is the overall feeling from you today and the players? Probably that you had 65% possession, I think, against Fulham. So how do you leave feeling? You did create chances, but you think you've got to be more lethal in that final third?
Yeah, in the final third, in the last pass, in the position in the box as well, in the final deliveries a few times, and it was tricky because of the wind as well. But yeah, I mean, possession, it's not the relevant thing for us. Is where we have it, how we win it, and we dominated a lot of phases of play today against a really good team. Unfortunately, we didn't win.
In terms of title race, you feel like you probably let Liverpool away with a missed opportunity?
We have one more point, one less game, and in the position that we are right now, we want to continue to win. We play today to win. There is no question about that. You see how the team is chasing until the last second. But again, for those small margins, we were unable to do it.
And Zinchenko, can you give us an update on that, please?
Yeah, Zinchenko felt something in the last game, so he wasn't available to play today. So we are missing 4 or 5 defenders at the moment. What I love is that you ask any player to play as a right back on the level, you will never play there, and they have great performances, so that's a positive thing.
BBC Radio London.
Weekday afternoons from 2, where all of London life exists. From arts, culture,
the best London, Paddington's London is the London we could all have and all live in.
Reviewing your week in the city.
Families feel that they've been left for too long without support.
To what's happening for your school children.
That's part of how small children start to get a grasp of the world around them.
Personal stories.
If I could change anything going back in time, I would have slept more and partied less.
All of London life comes together
here in the afternoons.
There's loads to unpack.
I'm all about the storytelling. Nothing will go wrong. It'll be absolutely fine. With me, Shay Kaur Garival, Monday to Thursday.
And me, Jumoke Fashola, on Fridays from 2.
BBC Radio London.
Listen on your smart speaker and on BBC Sounds.
Welcome back to the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. You're listening to BBC Radio London live here in North London, and what a picture under the lights. Malo Gusto has come on at right back for Chelsea. Caicedo has moved into the midfield, and Romeo Lavia is the player who has made way. Slightly unfortunate, I think. He had a good first half, but they didn't go with that traditional right back in that first half, and now they have altered it, Chelsea. So that's the only change at half time. Fraser Forster in goal for Spurs, Pedro Porro and a right back, Destiny Udogie at left back. There was a change for Tottenham during the first half as Christian Romero had to go off injured. Radu Dragusin was on for him, and he's alongside Mickey van der Ven in the heart of the defence. In midfield for Spurs, Yves Bissouma, Pape Sarr and Dejan Kulusevski. Sarr is on a booking, and up front Son and Brennan Johnson either side of Dominic Solanke. Solanke and Kulusevski putting Tottenham 2-0 up, but Chelsea hitting back through Jadon Sancho, and that's the scoreline as we go into the second half. 2-1 to Spurs. Chelsea's goalkeeper Robert Sanchez, a back four now of Malo Gusto, Benoit Badiashile, Levi Colwill and Marc Cucurella, who had 2 bad slips in the first half before changing his footwear. A midfield now of Moises Caicedo, Enzo Fernandez the captain, and Cole Palmer just ahead of them, and then Jadon Sancho and Pedro Neto down the flanks in support of Nicholas Jackson up front. So here's the Chelsea captain spreading the play out to the right. Enzo Fernandez sends it all the way out there to Pedro Neto, who's immediately running at the Tottenham left back Destiny Udogie. Back it now comes down that touchline to Gusto, and now Levi Colwill. Tottenham in the white shirts, the dark blue shorts and white socks. Chelsea all in blue. As Jadon Sancho, a little nutmeg on Kulusevski, and then Enzo Fernandez floats it out once again to Neto, looking for that pass regularly early on here. Palmer, foot on the ball. The England international goes back to Gusto, and now it's Badiashile out to Cucurella on the left hand side. Badiashile again, and now Colwill settling into some good possession at the start of this second half. It's BBC Radio London, live here at Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. Andy Rowley, commentator Bradley Allen is alongside me, and Bradley, everyone's had a deep breath and ready to go again.
Absolutely, Andy. Good start from Chelsea. Controlled, patient possession from them. Now they've stretched the play in behind. Jackson and Van de Ven, good 1v1 battle that one. Neto comes out with the ball from that challenge.
Here he is on the ball, looking really busy at the start of this second half. The Portuguese international plays it back to Enzo Fernandez. Now it's with Jadon Sancho out on the left-hand side. Dinks it down the line. It's pulled back to him again. Sancho! What a save that is from Forster again. Produced 2 brilliant saves in the first half. He's got something on that somehow to deny Sancho at the start of this second half, and it remains Tottenham 2-1 up, but Chelsea still in possession, camped outside the Spurs penalty area, chipped into Palmer, tries to flick it past Forster. He got something on it, but then Forster also just managed to get a knee to it, I think, and it's gone behind for a Chelsea corner.
Well, in that lower tier, down and away to our left-hand side, those Chelsea fans, good noise they're sensing early into this second, that the visiting team can tie this game back up and get it back to 2-2.
Great left-handed save there from Forster to keep Tottenham in the lead. Chelsea knocking on the door. Here comes the corner, floats it in, and it's flicked wide by Jackson.
Yes, Sarr wanted a foul. He felt he was being lent into there, but you're absolutely right. 2 really good saves from Fraser Forster.
He's been very important, hasn't he, since that terrible injury to Vicario, as Sarr tries to break away. Caicedo seems to have barged him off the field there.
He just barged him, really.
But he's got away with it, and now Cucurella is on the attack. Pedro Porro couldn't clear it there, came straight off Cucurella into his path again, and now he's played it to Sancho. Sancho to Cucurella again. Great tackle coming in there from Tottenham. Bissouma, crucial intervention there around the penalty spot, and it's come all the way out towards the left touchline to Enzo Fernandez. Now back to Badiashile, the Frenchman, out to Sancho. It's come off Pedro Porro. Throw into Chelsea, who started the second half as they meant to.
Yeah, they're moving the ball, aren't they? Tottenham fans, as they've tended to do in moments, are responding. They know that their side are facing a little spell here, and they're trying to stay with their side and help them out, withstand it.
Up the right they will go again. Neto cuts back onto his left foot, whips it across, headed away by Dragusin. Caicedo is there, down to Enzo Fernandez in that big money midfield pairing. Now Gusto up the right hand side to Neto again. He's floating in across. It might come all the way to Sancho. Pedro Porro just gets ahead onto it and then manages to wrestle with Sancho and get ahead of him and play the ball out up the right touchline. Brilliant from Kulusevski, and suddenly Tottenham are racing forward. Brennan Johnson arriving, Son as well. Solanke's up there. Kulusevski's carried it all the way to the edge of the penalty area, and his cross off the outside of the boot was just too firm.
It's a terrific bit of strength when Porro played Kulusevski down the right, Johnson's down, Spurs are down to 10 men. He's going to need some treatment, the Welsh winger.
Here's
Chelsea
Palmer,
trying to exploit the space.
Enzo Fernandez opening up for Chelsea here, perhaps Sancho straight across the face of goal. Neto pulls it back, almost runs for Palmer, and then cleared away from Basuma. And Tottenham have got virtually every player back in their box. And Johnson at the other end, marooned on the edge of the Chelsea penalty area, still down. Cucurella plays it to Sancho. He's really in the mood today. Sancho just misses Palmer with his pass. Cucurella pulls it back. Enzo Fernandez just past the post.
Inches wide.
And it remains 2-1. And Johnson will get some treatment now.
We're only 6 minutes in. But Chelsea have given us a teaser of what's in store. They're really pushing here. They're playing with quality, with confidence. Spurs have got a lot to be thankful for Foster. He might have even got a fingertip away to his left there. I wonder if this is another soft tissue injury for a Spurs player. Johnson down inside that centre circle, getting some treatment from the medical team. Werner, I think, is being readied. 52 minutes on the clock.
So, just looking down there now, it looks like another change is going to have to be made here for Spurs. He's had such a promising season, Brennan Johnson, so they'll be hoping this isn't anything too serious. 10 goals for the Welsh international, but it will be the former Chelsea player Timo Werner who will be coming on. 23 goals in 89 appearances for Chelsea. Started that Champions League final against Man City in 2020-2021, and I'm sure some Chelsea fans would find that pretty ironic if he was to bite the hand that fed him if he comes off the bench and scores today, because never quite saw the best of him, I feel, at Stamford Bridge. Tottenham fans will be praying he can have a massive impact here with his pace to hit Chelsea on the break, because at the moment Chelsea are really pushing Tottenham deeper and deeper. Badiashile back to Sanchez. Now up the line from Colwell. Basuma really harrying Palmer out on that touchline.
Yeah.
And it's a throw in to Tottenham.
Excellent work there from Basuma. Jumped locked onto Cole Palmer there, and he was tight to the touchline. And even with his brilliance, he couldn't wriggle out of that one. Spurs just nudging forward. Can they create a chance? Can they put themselves in a position? Because I think they're going to need this third goal here, Andy.
Son trying to get away down the left. But it's out off a Chelsea player for a throw into Spurs. 53 minutes on the clock. 2-1 Tottenham lead, thanks to the goals from Solanke and Kulusevski. More rubbish rains down from Robert Sanchez in that Chelsea 6-yard box. Tottenham, Son, good little break from that throw in, great bit of skill, still going along the byline, and then Caicedo wallops it out in the touch for another throw into Tottenham.
Yeah, clever from Son, the right area to do it. You've only got to get a clip of the heel there on the ankle. Referee just stopping the game. The security behind that goal have been busy, haven't they, clearing the rubbish?
They really have, yeah. As Palmer tries to clear that ball away, comes off the defender Udogie, and it will be another throw into Chelsea on that far touchline.
I think that's going to be important, and you see the quality that Chelsea had in possession and the passes that they reached. They need to almost, if there's such a phrase, be momentum killers here, Spurs, don't they? Kick the ball off the pitch, make a foul, slow the game down. Don't allow Chelsea to work the ball, move the ball, and sort of disrupt Tottenham where they get a sustained spell of pressure with the ball and in possession.
Free kick to Chelsea, chance for them to send this ball way upfield. 10 minutes gone in the second half, still a 2-1 lead for Tottenham as Sancho flicks that ball looking for Palmer, cleared away by Tottenham. Son and Sarr collide there, but eventually Chelsea play it back to their goalkeeper anyway. The wind swirls around here inside the Tottenham Hotspur stadium. Badiashile has it at the back. for the Blues. Now Enzo Fernandez sending a raking ball looking for Pedro Neto. Udogie goes back with him and has prodded that out for a corner to Chelsea.
Slightly heavy touch. They've hit that pass a few times. They're going to take the corner short to Palmer, Chelsea.
Back it now comes to Gusto. He's going to strike it right-footed and it's saved and it's near post by Forster. And another corner coming up to Chelsea.
Here's the push again from Chelsea.
Caught it pretty well, didn't he, Gusto?
Good effort, wasn't closed down. Another short corner, working it round the corner of the penalty box.
Here he is from the corner again. It's played back into his path. Gusto across goal. It's come off Solanke. It's another corner to Chelsea. They are piling it on now. Palmer goes across to take this corner. You can feel the nervous energy right around the stadium. Palmer in front of the away fans here to take this corner. A lot of wrestling in the penalty area. Udogie and Cucurella are the two being singled out by the referee Anthony Taylor. He's just having a word with those two. Chelsea flexing their muscles now. Can Tottenham keep them at bay? Here comes the corner then now from Palmer after some words from the referee. Swung in. Forster comes and takes. Good catch. He barges Colwell out of the way and then sends a clearing kick up towards Kulusevski. A little nudge in the back on Gusto and it's a free kick to Chelsea.
Bit soft that, Andy, wasn't it?
Well,
great drop shoulder, fly hat clearance from the catch of the cross. Little arm. He used all of it and more, didn't he? The way that he did 15 forward rolls there, Gusto, from Kulusevski's touch. Slight nudge. Yeah, I've seen him given. Bit soft.
Yeah. Played out from the back by Colwell.
Such a key spell in the game, isn't it?
Basuma intercepts the Neto pass, but Neto wins it back, and now Neto can break forward, and they've got plenty in this attack. Chelsea, Palmer on the overlap, Jackson in the middle, Neto still going. He's run down a bit of a cul-de-sac, but it's held on to Sancho. Sancho looking for Neto again. Werner tries to clear, hasn't got it away. Cucurella then challenged right on the edge of the box. He's gone down very easily, but no foul. Sancho continues, trying to get away from Werner. Flicks it into the path of Caicedo! It's a penalty surely! He's dived in, Basuma. What was he thinking? It's a penalty to Chelsea. Basuma goes off his feet. And the penalty given by Anthony Taylor, it's a booking to Basuma. And that was a moment of madness, really. He didn't really have to go in for that. He was going towards the byline. He might have been able to cut it back, but it was such a dangerous tackle on Caicedo.
Correct decision, certain penalty, fully committed to the challenge, but Caicedo from the clever reverse pass that was slipped into the penalty box, Chelsea left-hand side from Sancho. He towed it beyond Basuma, and he's just been chopped down. Palmer, you'd suspect, would be ready to take this penalty and try and put the West London side back on level terms at 2-2.
Famously 100% record on penalties, Bradley. 10 out of 10, quite literally, in the Premier League. And there's only one player who's taken over 10 penalties in the Premier League to have had a 100% record before. And that was Yaya Toure at Manchester City, who scored 11 out of 11. Well, this is Palmer's 11th. And he's up against Fraser Forster.
Well, we said it was a big moment in the game, and it needs sometimes a big name player to step up. Is it going to be Cole Palmer again in a Chelsea shirt with what he's done this and last season?
Palmer scored from the spot in this very fixture last season. As it fell apart for Tottenham, here he steps up and strokes it past the goalkeeper who flew the other way. He celebrates in front of those Chelsea fans, and Palmer faultless again from the spot, and Chelsea have redressed the balance. 2-0 down, they're back to 2-2 with half an hour to go. It's Spurs 2, Chelsea 2.
Yeah, this game is still well and truly alive and kicking. They've been very, very good, Chelsea. 15 minutes into this second half, he just slotted it and sent Forster the wrong way there, Cole Palmer. As you'd expect from him, duly dispatched.
It's a beauty, isn't it? It's in the inside of the side netting, isn't it?
Lovely, lovely spot kick.
Tottenham on the ball as they try and take the game to Chelsea again. It's been quite a comeback from the Blues as they go back to their goalkeeper Forster. Left-footed upfield looking for Solanke. Headed before it can get to him by Badiashile. Now Van der Ven nodding it forward. Caicedo, who's been a real force of nature in this game since Chelsea went 2 down. Now Werner out on the right touchline. Infield to Basuma. Now Pedro Porro. Kulusevski sends that for Werner to chase. Badiashile covers it, and then Sancho moves it infield to Cucurella. I think Basuma's also going to miss the next game in the league due to that yellow card he picked up for giving away the penalty. He was on 4 yellows, so suspension coming up.
Yeah, foul by Doge on Chelsea's right against Neto. He needs to be careful.
Yeah, Neto's rolling about a bit after that foul, and then
Bentancur can perhaps come back into the, because of his availability on Thursday with the Europa League game, with that resuming up at Rangers. Great ball from Palmer. Chelsea on the right.
Neto down the right, looking to get the cross in left-footed. Cuts back onto his right. Udogie gets the tackle in, but he's still got another 3 games of his suspension in the league, so he won't be available for the next league game. Bentancur. So that'll be most likely Maddison to have to come in for Basuma, but a different kind of player, I suppose. As Sancho plays it back to the halfway line. Badiashile gives it straight to Kulusevski. The crowd really trying to play their part here, but Solanke couldn't find Werner with a little flick there on the touchline, and Chelsea are trying to come away upfield. Basuma wins the ball back. Another player just got to be a little careful, but he's battling away as hard as he can.
Yeah, he does need to be really, really careful. There's still loads of time in this game. He needs to show discipline. He needs to know concentration. But they're showing their mettle here, Chelsea, Andy, aren't they?
They certainly are. Very entertaining watch. The ball is back with Colwell. Now forward from Badiashile. That's won well by Dragusin, and Werner on the right hand side. Can Tottenham hit back here? The German international Werner. He's tackled rather easily by Badiashile, but Pedro Porro is trying to win it back. They flick it up the line here, Chelsea. Dragusin should be able to
good
get
defending from Dragusin. Bump Jackson off the ball there. Can Spurs make something as Chelsea fall back into their defensive shape?
Holding onto the ball out there on the left hand side is Son. Now with Dragusin, and up the right he goes to Werner. Now Pedro Porro. His ball ricochets off Enzo Fernandez. It's out for a throw in to Tottenham right hand side. Porro waiting for the players to show some movement for him. Kulusevski's the only real one that's providing much. Werner though gets a little 1-2 with the throw-in taker, and then the ball comes off Enzo Fernandez for a throw-in to Spurs on this right-hand side.
I think if Spurs can work something down this right as they're, slowly nudging towards that corner flag, get a corner. Good play from Solanke here.
Solanke towards the byline, tries to backheel it to keep it in under pressure from Caicedo. Now cleared away by Sancho. Dragusin just holding Jackson at bay, and then Van der Ven will go back to his goalkeeper Fraser Forster. Came through that famous Wallsend Boys Club before going to Newcastle. It's a well-worn path. Floats the ball forward looking for Kulusevski. Sancho gets it after it's knocked down by Badiashile, and now Caicedo. Enzo Fernandez, former River Plate midfielder. Born in Buenos Aires, gets it out to the left-hand side. Cucurella now moves it across the pitch, and Colwell to Gusto on the right. Palmer drifting across the pitch. Scorer of the equaliser from the spot. 2-2 if you're just joining us here for this great match between Tottenham and Chelsea in North London. Solanke harrying Palmer. Free kick to Chelsea, and they continue to dominate possession here. Gusto out on the right hand side, goes all the way back to Colwell. No Reece James of course at the moment, hamstring injury for him. Fofana also out in that defence, but Tottenham with bigger problems you'd say, with Vicario, Richarlison, Odegaard, Davis out at the moment. Bentancur suspended, but they did get Romero and Van de Ven back, but Romero didn't last too long today and has had to go off injured now. We've got Brennan Johnson also struggling. The latest person just to bring us to a pause is Cole Palmer.
Yeah,
quite sure he's done this. He's holding his right foot.
Yeah, he's right instep there. Whether he took a knock. He's grimacing a little bit, isn't he?
Saw that famous celebration of his.
Yeah, he just got trod on the toe, didn't he, in the challenge from Solanke a minute ago.
Just treading on the top of his foot. His boots don't offer that much protection these days, do they, Bradley, on the top of the boot?
No, they're featherweight, aren't they?
Here's Tottenham trying to make something happen at the start of this second half. Solanke flicks it down the left. Udogie is well offside, but Son might not be. And Son has taken over here. Chelsea have fallen asleep there. Son! Oh, he's put it wide.
Well, the goal would have been allowed.
Werner was there.
The flag was raised. Udogie was offside. All the Chelsea players are furious with Anthony Taylor, the referee, because they stopped. But Son actually run from a deeper position, and he was onside. He'd run from Spurs' half of the pitch. Udogie cleverly left the ball.
What have Chelsea got to complain about there, Bradley? Because it's not as if
within
Udogie
the
actually
rules,
interfered.
Spurs were right to carry on.
Yeah.
You have to play to the whistle.
Should he have squared it to Werner?
It would have been chaos if that would have gone in. And the reaction of Chelsea, my goodness.
I don't know if you saw on the replay, Werner was holding his hands out, Bradley, as if to say, could you have squared it? Because he potentially had a tap in, but you know, knowing Son,
he usually just opens up and buries that, doesn't he, and curls it into the
put it wide of the far post though, didn't he? Didn't curl it in enough or place it well enough. Sarr has won that back in midfield. Now Solanke, Werner, oh, he's missed touch again, and they'll come back for the free kick, the referee. Werner really lacking confidence, I feel. Just so many times that it's coming his way and the crowd are just desperately hoping he's going to do something that doesn't quite come off. 21 minutes to go.
Yeah, better from Spurs here.
Tottenham 2, Chelsea 2. As Dragusin floats a ball forward towards Pedro Porro. He's got in behind the defence. It's a brilliant cross as well on the run. It's come all the way to Son. Son to Solanke. Oh, the defender down for Chelsea, and they're going to halt the play for a free kick. Colwell has gone down.
Colwell's holding his neck as if he's got whiplash. Andy, it's no more than a bouncing ball, and it's a coming together. He used his strength there, Solanke. What? Never a foul.
Two players is coming together there, but
Andy's furious, and I'm not surprised.
Wow. There's another dustbin lorry getting emptied at that end of the ground. Mostly towards the referee, Anthony Taylor.
You'd worry if Colwell was to play against a centre forward from back in the day, Andy, wouldn't you?
Yeah,
he's gone down after that contact.
Knocked about.
Gosh.
Oh, Caicedo was trying to get that ball upfield towards Jackson. Jackson couldn't quite take it with him, and now we're on the move with Tottenham. Edge of the penalty area, the Chelsea penalty area. Kulusevski dragged back there by Badiashile.
That's not a foul. Kulusevski was just toppled.
He's pulled his shirt a tiny bit.
Nothing in that really.
Free kick, edge of the box though for Spurs. It's a big moment, maybe.
Yeah, this is a big chance.
20 minutes to go.
Set the free kick up, get the players in the right position, attack with aggression.
Van der Ven is coming into the box.
Porro put this in the key area.
Well, they've loaded the box here at Tottenham. Chelsea have brought everyone back, and the Spurs fans are in good voice again. 2-2. Udogie, the only player apart from Fraser Forster who's hanging back really here. Everyone else in and around the penalty area for Tottenham. Everyone back for Chelsea. Pedro Porro is going to send it in. Here it comes from the Spaniard. Headed on by Van der Ven, but wide.
Oh, he just
needed a firmer header there.
Double movement.
In a central position.
Slightly off balance, Van der Ven, perhaps behind him. Good ball from Porro. Glanced it wide.
So it remains 2-2 as Sanchez plays it short. Enzo Fernandez now out to Cucurella on the left-hand side. Pedro Porro is hunting for the ball, but it comes off the Spaniard, and it's a throw in to Chelsea left-hand side, midway inside their own half. Although Cucurella's trying to sneak a bit further forward, from the sounds of things with the Tottenham fans.
Winning goal, Andy. What are your thoughts?
Oh well, I've given up trying to predict anything in the Premier League, let alone with Tottenham, Bradley.
Yeah.
That's a fool's errand trying to guess what's going to happen with Spurs every week. As Tottenham can't quite get the ball back, and Enzo Fernandez is on the break, gets it infield to Jadon Sancho. So good at controlling the ball in tight situations. And now it's out from Caicedo to Gusto. Up the line of Palmer. Palmer level with the edge of the Tottenham penalty area. Dancing this way and that. Tries to skip away from Udogie. Now the former Man City winger is into the Tottenham penalty area. He's still going. His cross comes off a defender and then whipped in by Enzo Fernandez. 3-2 up Chelsea, having been 2-0 down, and it's the Chelsea captain on the day, Enzo Fernandez, who rattled that in, but it was all down to some superb work from Cole Palmer. 3 defenders couldn't get it off him. The ball came across the penalty area, and Enzo Fernandez wallops it in. It's 3-2 to Chelsea with 17 to go.
Mazy run from Palmer, jinking, twisting, turning, evading challenges of 3 Spurs players, and his deflective effort come to Fernandez. He had a bit to do, Andy, across his body. He steadied himself. He hit across the ball with his left foot volley, and the power of the shot beat Foster. Great finish. Chelsea in front.
Well, that was some run, wasn't it, from Palmer?
Mazy, wasn't it? Beautiful.
And eventually
glued to his foot.
Deflects off a Tottenham foot, the ball in from Palmer, and then Enzo Fernandez has hit that volley off the laces. A brilliant strike, given the way it was bouncing across him, and Chelsea have come all the way back to lead this one now, and huge celebrations from Enzo Maresca, and Postecoglou looks crestfallen. Christopher Nkunku is about to be introduced as well, I think, for Chelsea.
Yeah, change for Chelsea.
You'd imagine Nicholas Jackson would be the man to go off a straight swap. Kick-off for Tottenham, who now trail in this game, having led 2-0. It's Sarr being forced back into his own half by Caicedo, and then Jackson's gone down, running for that ball alongside Van der Ven.
Yeah, Kulusevski's just saying to the referee that Jackson's run into him. The Chelsea players are trying to insinuate that Van der Ven, as he blocked off Caicedo, he's all right.
So here comes that change for Chelsea. Nicholas Jackson will be replaced by Christopher Nkunku, who, as I mentioned earlier, 12 goals this season, 2 in the Premier League. He's actually had more goals than starts this season, which is quite some going. That's what I call an Ole Gunnar Solskjaer stat, I suppose. But He's feasted.
He scored a few in the
Europa Conference League.
Yeah.
Well, all in all, Chelsea have scored 60 goals now in 23 games this season. As you'd imagine, a lot of those have come in the Europa Conference League, but it's 34 goals in 15 Premier League games, which is some going as well, Bradley.
Yeah.
Over 2 a game. It's Forster plays the ball out from the back. Now it's floated upfield for Pape Sarr to chase. Caicedo is there and cushions a pass down to Gusto. His ball forward is flicked by Palmer, and here comes Chelsea again. It's a square ball for Jadon Sancho. Sancho onto his left foot. It's a great block from Pedro Porro. Absolutely crucial. And it's behind for a Chelsea corner.
Well, in one direction, Spurs played in behind. Caicedo tracked Sarr, and then it was knocked back forward. Delicate touch and help on there from
Palmer. Absolutely brilliant.
Van der Ven's down again.
Oh my goodness.
But the defending there was excellent from Porro on that 1v1 to block Sancho's goal-bound effort from inside the Tottenham Hotspur penalty box.
Well, this is cruel, isn't it, Bradley? If he, having just come back for a game like this, if Van der Ven can't stay on, or if he's back on the treatment table. They've already lost Romero in this game. I think this is one of those situations where ordinarily, if you're bringing one of them back, you would have taken him off at this stage for Dragusin, but given that Romero had to go off early in the piece, they haven't got that option, so Van der Ven's been having to continue.
Well, Archie Gray's ready, he's stripped.
So the teenager Archie Gray,
I think Bergvall as well,
at the heart of defence. Bergvall, and looks like Maddison as well, so 3 of them coming on in a moment for Spurs. What a shame if Van der Ven has to go off here. He's so popular.
Spurs can't afford to risk it. Hopefully that is just some muscle fatigue and tightness and cramp.
It looked a little bit like the way they were stretching it. It looked a bit like it was cramping up, and they probably would have had it in mind to replace him around this, probably earlier than this time. But for that Romero injury, Bradley, you would have thought Dragusin might have come on anyway at this point, just to protect Van der Ven.
Substitution for Spurs, replacing number 37, Nicky Van der Ven.
So Archie Gray comes on. He started down at Bournemouth at right back. He's now on most likely at centre half. And Kulusevski is coming off to be replaced by Maddison. And the final change will see Basuma make way for Lucas Bergvall.
He's on a yellow, isn't he, Basuma?
Yeah. Anyway, we've still got the Chelsea corner to come after that ball was put behind by that great block from Pedro Porro.
You got to dig really deep here, Spurs, don't they? Nearly 80 minutes on the clock. Can they sort of just somehow, with these changes, navigate themselves through at 2-3, keep the scoreline as they can, and they still might be able to earn themselves a chance and get an equaliser and more before the final whistle.
Here it comes, the corner, headed away before it reaches the near post by Pedro Porro, and it will be another corner from the left for Chelsea, and it will be Enzo Fernandez again to take as we approach 10 minutes to go of the 90 here at Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. Chelsea searching for a fourth, headed up in the air by Pedro Porro. Son then trying to nod it clear. Maddison chasing this ball out, but Chelsea have it, and Caicedo plays it square towards Gusto. Then Palmer whips it forward, knowing that Tottenham are looking to try and intercept there, and Spurs being urged forward by the home crowd here. Bergvall, Dragusin, he's played it off on Kunku. It's a throw into Spurs right hand side. The Romanian leaves it for Pedro Porro to take. He cuts infield to try and get away from Jadon Sancho. Goes back to Archie Gray. And he will move it across the edge of the penalty area to Dragusin. Clip forward looking for Solanke. Sarr, he almost got away there. Enzo Fernandez just won it back when Solanke was breaking away to try and receive a pass upfield.
Good hook challenge, wasn't it? from Fernandes. He's had a fine game, the Chelsea number 8.
That midfield pairing we were talking about, Bradley, that cost all that money. Enzo Fernandez and
starting to come
Moises
good, isn't
Caicedo.
it? And their qualities.
Well, just this game, you've just seen how they've started to boss it from about half an hour gone.
And I think as well, you know, is this sort of a marker from a Chelsea perspective? Because Spurs, certainly in that first 20 minutes, were really impressive and gave Chelsea a fine game, but the comeback has been brilliant.
Great
chance
pass
Tottenham
from Pedro Porro to Werner. Werner's cross comes off Cucurella with 3 Tottenham players arriving in the 6-yard box.
Yeah, just slowed
corner.
Just a fraction, didn't he? German Werner there on Spurs right. He needed to get onto his touch quicker and whip that ball into the corridor. Blocked away, but Spurs have got a corner here. Big moment.
Pedro Porro then about to send in a right-footed corner. Floated into near the penalty spot, over the head of Dragusin. Son chests it up in the air, then he's closed down by Pedro Neto, who's robbed him of the ball and then sends it up the right-hand side, and Chelsea have got a great break on here. Sancho is leading it, he's got Palmer and Nkunku in the middle. He's slowed it down a little bit as he reaches the edge of the penalty area, but he gets it to Palmer. Palmer cuts back as he's gone down there on the edge of the penalty, and the referee says it's another penalty. As Sarr tried to go over and win the ball, Palmer was going nowhere really, and he's just clipped him, and that might be that if Palmer can slot this in.
Yeah, Cole Palmer's not going to give up the chance when he gets contact in the box. Just a knee through the back.
What's he doing?
And others across the game that the referee's given.
So reckless. Palmer's going away from goal. The danger's been averted somewhat, and then Sarr can't resist putting a knee into the back of Palmer, who's protecting the ball. It's a penalty, and Tottenham, with just 1 goal in it, still had a chance, and there was still enough time.
Yeah, they did, Andy, but Cole Palmer,
this goes in
with his impressive penalty record. We've already seen it this afternoon. This should seal this contest and put Chelsea home at least at 4-2.
Palmer then composes himself. We talked about his faultless record from the spot in the Premier League, and this time it's a nonchalant chip down the middle. That really is taking the Michael. What a brilliant penalty from Cole Palmer. Absolutely nonchalant. And 2 reckless tackles here from Tottenham have proved incredibly costly. It's an 11th goal of the season for Cole Palmer, and Chelsea have scored 4 here again at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. It's going to be 6 wins here for Chelsea at the new stadium. It's Tottenham 2, Chelsea 4.
Yeah, delightful from Palmer. He just oozes confidence. The maverick that he is, the quality that he has. Panenka style, just dinked it over Foster for a Chelsea 4th.
Wow, I remember that penalty he took at 4-3 against City in that pouring rain, and I thought this guy's got something about him against his old club. Just looked like it was a kickabout. Now there's a few players having words. It was Dragusin and Enzo Fernandez.
Yeah, I think there's 1 or 2 Spurs players. They're just saying to the referee, look, you know, it was the right decision on the penalty. Great finish from Palmer, like we've highlighted. Yeah, celebrate your 4th goal in front of your fans, but come on, let's get on with the game.
Bergvall, now Udogie, he's been caught there. That would be a booking for Pedro Neto, and a free kick to Spurs on the halfway line.
Substitution for Chelsea, replacing number 7, Pedro Neto, number 11, Nani Madueke.
Another change coming up here as Nkunku is just calming Enzo Fernandez down. It's Neto who's going to come off on that booking, and Madueke, who we mentioned before the match, having been part of the Tottenham Academy, coached by Bradley amongst others at Tottenham, is about to come on. And there's a good battle on in those wide places in this team, the wide positions in attack.
Are Chelsea in the title race, Andy Rowley? Absolutely.
How can you say they're not?
Absolutely. With the squad that they've got.
Yeah. Unbeaten in 8 in all competitions. Now Chelsea expecting that Tottenham can't score 3 late on this one. As Bergvall moves it out to the left-hand side. Now forward to Werner, flicks it back towards Son. That came off the referee, Anthony Taylor, and it was
offside.
Offside anyway.
Yeah, Werner run too early from Gray's forward pass. Clock's ticking. There'll be a few injury minutes here, but there's a few disgruntled Tottenham Hotspur fans, you know, leaving a little bit early. The rain subsided. It started so positively, didn't it? You know, Spurs were, you know, outstanding in that first 20 minutes, swept Chelsea aside really in the 2-goal lead that they had, but the response, the levelling up, and how impressive Chelsea have been in this second half. Fair play to them. 4-2, and in a really strong, healthy position here in this one.
Chelsea didn't pass 30 points till the 21st game of last season, but they're on to 31 points with 3 points here. Only had 2 wins away to Tottenham in the Premier League in 13 between 2006 and 2018, but they've won 5 of their last 6 in the Premier League away to Tottenham. And they've got a 2-goal cushion here with 2.5 minutes of the 90 to go. It's a ball into the box though, which Maddison is able to send across the 6-yard box.
Yeah,
Colwell is there to clear.
Good ball, he just didn't hit it with enough ferociousness there really, Maddison, in that half space, left side.
Dragusin out to Werner on the right hand side. Up the right to Werner again. Tries to flick it infield. It's come off a Chelsea player, and then Sancho will go back to Cucurella. Floated forward towards the halfway line. Dragusin heads it towards Pedro Porro. He's seen caught there, but play continues, and Chelsea stroking the ball around inside their own half. Badiashile looking out towards the right hand side to Madueke, but Udogie was there first. Now Bergvall back to Dragusin.
Another thing as well, Andy, you make such a brilliant point. You know, we're not even at the business end of the season, but the changes that Maresca's got, there's 24 of them. They're still over at Cobham at the training centre, Andy, who are fresh as daisies. Yeah. And the players that he's putting on here have played a little bit of football, but they are razor sharp to come into such big fixtures.
It's frightening, isn't it?
It's going to make a massive difference for Chelsea.
And you say, as you say, that Europa Conference League should be there for the
They should not
taking.
win it, Andy. They should not win that European competition.
I looked down the list of teams, and amongst
that's no
like
disrespect
the Shamrock
to their
Rovers
opponents
and various others. You've got Fiorentina, who've made a couple of finals in that competition, but really with no one dropping down. Werner has got that off Badiashile. Here's Solanke, right-footed drive is blocked by Colwell, and Tottenham don't get that chance to just turn up the heat right at the end of the game. We're going to get João Felix coming on very shortly here for Chelsea, and
substitution for Chelsea.
he's going to be coming on for Cole Palmer.
Number 14, João Felix.
Palmer takes the acclaim, and rightly so. He's been superb in this second half, fully involved, 2 brilliant penalties. Vega,
Renato Vega is coming on for Cucurella. Renato Vega, who can play midfield, but mainly signed as a left back or left-sided central defender. Still just 21, born in Lisbon, but 3 caps for Portugal already, and 7 minutes of added time to be added here, despite the fact that many probably feel that the result is in the books here. You never quite know. Pedro Porro with the throw-in. Goes short to Bergvall. Back to Pedro Porro again. Up the touchline. Bergvall does really well to get away from his man there, and it's crossed in towards Son. What is that from Son? He's played it so hard, way behind any of the players who were getting in there, but Pedro Porro has done brilliantly to battle back against João Felix, and he's won a free kick just short of the halfway line.
Yeah, he did well there, actually. Pedro Porro. I thought Son off a good first touch from Bergfeld's cross from the right byline.
Caicedo.
There you go, Chelsea again. Madueke will be in the mood here, 1v1.
Madueke breaking forward, he's taking on Archie Gray for pace here. Madueke's cross comes off a defender, does it? No.
Gray done
Came
well.
back off Madueke, and it's going to be a goal kick to Forster and Tottenham. 4-2 Chelsea lead in the second minute of second half stoppage time. Chelsea going back to second in the table and moving 4 points behind Liverpool at the top, who didn't play this weekend due to the storm in that last ever Merseyside derby at Goodison Park, which will take place at a future date, unknown at the moment. Apparently some people flew halfway around the world for that one, Bradley, and doesn't get played because they didn't want to miss the last derby at Goodison. It's terrible luck for them as the ball is played forward looking for Madueke. Forster comes out and claims it and bowls it out upfield. Bergvall showing a lot of confidence since he's come on. He's had the ball at his feet a lot, and he's sprayed that out to Werner on the right. Werner cutting in field against his old team here. Lovely touch from Maddison, left-footed, and he's put it just wide of goal. It was a brilliant first touch. Completely left the Chelsea defender on the ground.
Great ball through from Werner, actually on the angle, shifted the feet of Colwell, and you've seen Maddison many a time just whip and bend that one into the top left-hand corner, but just leaning back ever so slightly, and the shot went high and wide of the goal. Shame.
Tottenham unbeaten in the first 4 Premier League London derbies under Ange Postecoglou, but if this is a defeat, it'll be 8 defeats in the 14 since then. We're hearing just how strong Fulham have been in London derbies earlier on. And it's a big part of the season for any London club, isn't it, Bradley? The amount of derbies you have to contend with, the heat that
well,
comes
Arsene Wenger always used to say that, didn't he? How difficult it is for any London side with the amount of superb London teams in the Premier League and the bragging rights and the fans and what you have to encounter to push and be title contenders. It is not easy.
Out the left goes Spurs to Maddison. On the turn here is Son. Pedro Porro, who certainly hasn't shown any signs of wilting in this match. He's battling hard still, gets it to Werner. Werner cutting in field on the right, dinks it through. It's a brilliant pass to Son. Son, can he finish? Good save from Sanchez. He just wanted to let that run across onto his left foot.
He might have even squared it. Sarr was up in support.
Thought he could hit that straight away there, Son.
A little square pass. Actually, Spurs could have got this to 4-3.
Yeah. This is
would have had a crazy
always
finish.
Got that in them. That's the thing, isn't it?
That's a foul.
As Pedro Porro's brought down by Caicedo. Free kick to Tottenham.
Well,
just outside the box.
Scored one from this sort of distance against Aston Villa. We've got to go for it here. I think there was a late Robbie Keane equaliser back in the day when it at White Hart Lane a number of years ago. That was a incredible 4-4.
I could just picture his celebration.
Yeah. Couldn't be, could it?
Well,
if this gets whipped in.
I've seen quite a few games for Tottenham where you think the scoring's done and then they get a couple. I think a Brighton game, I'm reminded of down on the south coast, I think, where it looked like the game was completely gone and they got 2 late goals, and suddenly it was a question of whether they might just get something out of it, but they've just left too much to do with those 2 rash tackles that led to those penalties. Pedro Porro and James Maddison, the 2 options for this free kick. Maddison moves away and Pedro Porro hits it into the wall, comes back to him on the volley. He's caught it pretty well. It sneaks just past the post as Sanchez goes down to his right. It has taken a deflection.
Fair play to Porro. I agree with you, Andy. He has kept going, kept persevering. Maddison corner.
So Maddison to swing it in from the left-hand side. 1.5 minutes of the stoppage time to go. The referee's stopped it again. So Dragusin, who he just wants to have a quick word with there. In it comes to Bergvall short. Back to Maddison again. Maddison gets away from João Felix. Great skill from Maddison. Pulls it back. Goal for Son. Tottenham make it 4-3. But surely there's not enough time to try and get an equaliser in this one. They always seem to have a goal in them, but have they left too much to do with those two rash tackles? Son scores just a third goal in 20 games against Chelsea for him.
Well, I said, Andy, didn't I? They couldn't. Brilliant short corner. Brilliant from Maddison to the byline. Cuts it back. Replacement, I think it might just be checked. Udogie possibly was on the goal line then. There was a Chelsea player, but he's not interfering with play, I don't think. Maresca perhaps just nervously having a chat with the fourth official to confirm the remaining time here. Can Spurs get the ball for one big final push?
I mentioned the London derbies for Tottenham. Well, for Chelsea, one defeat in 12 Premier League London derbies. That was that incredible 5-0 against Arsenal last season, which seems a distant memory as Tottenham try and get upfield here. Archie Gray heads it down into the centre circle. Chelsea get possession back. Floated forward by Vega, and it's got to go. Got a long way to go here, Tottenham, as Udogie brings it forward down the left. We're over the allotted 7 minutes.
Great ball.
Bergvall swings it out towards Werner. Are we in for a grandstand finish here? Werner against his old club sends it across. Son reaching for it, but it's just drifted beyond those players who were breaking into the 6-yard box. Son reaching out, couldn't get to it, and it's behind for a goal kick to Chelsea, and that might be all she wrote here at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. And Chelsea leading 4-3, and we're in the 98th minute.
Oh, there were some tired Spurs players there. Dragusin, actually, I was surprised that he left the in-swinging curling cross. So yellow card for Sanchez for moving the ball on the restart. Gamesmanship from him. I think from the kick forward here, Anthony Taylor, the referee, inside that centre circle, will probably blow up for full time and a Chelsea victory.
Ball pumped forward by Sanchez. Still we play as Sarr hooks it up in the air. Maddison challenging with Caicedo. Nkunku now tries to knot it down. Pedro Porro's won it back, trying to float it forward towards Werner. Cleared away by Vega, and there is the final whistle, and Chelsea have done it again here. They've scored 4 at Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. It was closer this time without the sendings off, and in fact Tottenham had taken a 2-goal lead early in the piece, but Chelsea fought their way back, and 2 rash tackles in the second half have led to 2 penalties, coolly dispatched by Cole Palmer, and Chelsea 8 wins in their last 10 away Premier League games, and they are certainly in the conversation. It's their 36th Premier League win against Tottenham, 120 goals scored in those games, the most against any opponent for Chelsea, and their dominance against the North London side continues. Tottenham, another defeat, their only win in their last 7 in all competitions. Remarkably, that 4-0 win at Manchester City. Chelsea move back to second in the table, and they're Liverpool's closest challengers. It's finished here. Tottenham 3, Chelsea 4.
BBC Radio London,
The home of London football.
Well, just before we leave you on the sport here on BBC Radio London, don't forget tomorrow evening a massive game between West Ham United and Wolves at the bottom of the Premier League table. West Ham will be hoping to put a big gap between them and the bottom. A big game, that one, for Julian Lopetegui. Join us for 6 o'clock. Build up to that game tomorrow evening on the home of London Sport. But Bradley, your reflections on what you've seen here today. Tottenham, they gave their fans what they really wanted, a brilliant fast start, 2 goals, had the place rocking, but this Chelsea team showed that they have got so much in the locker and so much still to come perhaps.
Absolutely, Andy. I think firstly, it's the best game, the most enjoyable game that I've covered this season. It's always a pleasure to work alongside you and your brilliant, amazing commentary. I completely agree. Spurs started brightly, 2 excellent goals with a fast, frenetic, pressing style that we often see under Big Ange and his leadership. But Chelsea grew into it, and in the second half, I thought what you see is certainly a side with quality, a depth in squad, and just a brilliant attacking quality at the disposal of manager Enzo Maresco. There was controlled possession, there was attacking moments. Maybe a couple of the penalties were a bit naive from a Spurs point of view with the challenges that were made, but Chelsea are not going to take advantage of that. And I think this evening the bragging rights are with Chelsea. Their players and staff were celebrating in front of their fans. It's a great evening for them. Are they in the title race? Absolutely they are.
And the penalties, you know, they were rash tackles. It was naive, but at the same time, Tottenham were at full stretch at that point. That was what Chelsea were putting them under that duress.
Van de Ven returning had gone off early. Earlier in the second half. Romero had gone off early in the first half. You know, he tried to put them back in. That was a risk. Players had to come from the bench. You know, the Spurs squad at the moment with the, you know, such challenging injury problems that Big Ange is facing, it's really being tested with them playing every 4 or 5 days. We keep saying it. We said it on Thursday down at Bournemouth, and therein is the issue. The difference with Chelsea and the squad available is like it's chalk and cheese really, and all of their players are pretty much fit, sharp, fresh, ready to go. You know,
only 4 of their players played the 2 games this week.
There you go, 7 changes for this game today, and it was a factor, a key factor in the second half.
And if you think of the approach to Europe as well, Tottenham have been playing a lot of the players in that competition. Chelsea have played a completely different team every Thursday.
Yeah, that's right. And you know, from a physical point of view, with this speed and this intensity of the Premier League, that was certainly a key player, wasn't it, for Chelsea in the second half.
And just before we leave, just a word on that match tomorrow evening, Bradley. That's got a heck of a lot on it.
Yeah, under pressure Gary O'Neill, and certainly under pressure Julian Lopetegui at that London stadium. Big crowd. The expectation of the West Ham fans will be that they get something from that one. You know, West Ham were brilliant at Newcastle but couldn't follow that up, and they sort of dribbled away a little bit and fell away a little bit against an impressive Arsenal side and got thoroughly beaten. And then they've lost at Leicester. You know, I think we should highlight and mention, we really hope Mikel Antonio's okay after that dreadful car crash that he sustained yesterday. So our thoughts are with him and his family and a speedy recovery. But from a West Ham Football Club team, manager and player point of view, big game that one for the Hammers.
Bradley, thank you as always. Great to have you alongside. Good work on the coaching as well earlier today, getting through in the FA Youth Cup, but not such a good story for Tottenham here against Chelsea. 2-0 lead, but in the end Chelsea had the power and the desire and the skill to fight their way back, and they win it 4-3 after 2 penalties from Cole Palmer. Settled it here for Chelsea, who are second in the Premier League and the closest challengers to Liverpool at the top. That's it from us here. Thank you very much to Andrew Wright, Bill Parry, to Emily Herbert, and join us tomorrow from 6 for West Ham against Wolves. Huge game, and we'll bring you all the build-up from 6 o'clock. But for now, from here at Tottenham Hotspur Stadium in North London, we hand you over to our coverage on BBC Radio London on 94.9 FM, where we'll find Dot and Adebayo to take you through the evening.
A couple of days. It's not over yet, not for everybody in any case. Storm Dara, and it has caused a lot of cancellations in this country over the last 48 hours or so. Cancellation Britain is what I'm calling it, and I've been asking, what has the storm kept you doing? What have you had to cancel or postpone as a result of the storm? We've got Christine with us in Malden in Essex. Christine, good evening. How are you?
Not quite. About 10 miles, 12 miles away. I'm in Burnham on Crouch in Essex, Doctor.
Okay, I'm not going to ask you to run over to Malden. Well, I could do, couldn't I?
I do. I'm there every week, Doctor, and I'm there twice off. I'm there every week. So it's a beautiful market town, Malden.
Look,
I live about 12 miles away, but no, I'll let you off because you're a long way from here.
Oh, no, but I used to be there because I went to university in Colchester, the University of Essex.
Yeah.
So I used to travel around on my little motorcycle, and I've been to Malden and other places in the environs as well. So I know the landscape pretty well. Pretty
area, yeah. Oh,
lovely area. Lovely area.
Yes, it is.
But what a difference the weather has made to the area over the last 24 hours.
Oh dear, yes, well the whole country. But I mean, saying that, we've got off lightly compared to the West Country. I do feel so sorry for those people down in the West Country.
Indeed, you do have to put these things in perspective, don't you?
Yes, I mean, what they've had, they've only just got over, Storm Bert a couple of weeks ago.
Indeed.
They're still clearing up